Yes, people, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. I wholeheartedly offer whatever suits your time zone. Please kindly accept. I hope you all are doing well. I sincerely do appreciate you finding time to join. We haven't streamed in a while. Again, I hope you all are doing well. As it's usual, I will take some time to take a look at what we already have in the chat, and I already have Ty in the house. Again, give me a second. I will get back to you all here. Let's see, my screen is a bit slow because I've been using it for a lot of coding work for a while now. We have Santiago Munoz in the house this morning, Coachella panel and chat morning to you too. I hope you're doing well. It's been a minute. Thank you so much for joining. And the captain of the house, Blue Morning, Coachella panel and chat says, Liam Lane, thank you so much. I appreciate you finding time to join. Again, hi, Santiago. Again, please like and subscribe. Yes, people, we have 10 likes. You can be doing better than that. Like and subscribe. When you enter, if you have not, I say helps the channel grow and reach a wider audience. We have quite a lot of stuff to talk about today. I'll try to keep it as short as possible because, again, my voice still sounds kind of weird. I'm not sure if maybe it's just me or everyone else. Again, my brother, good afternoon, Coach Bonis. I'm not sure what language is that. It sounds like Spanish, but nice to see you here, bro. I hope you're doing well. Thanks so much for finding the time to join the show. And yeah, Nightbot is well and truly alive and also hard at work immediately. Let me see Lawler here, my good friend. Bonjour to you, Coach and Blues. Bonjour to you too. I hope you're doing well. Thanks so much for finding the time to join. We have again, let me see what else we have here. Anyone else? This is just people saying hello, and it's Kami. Morning, everyone. I hope you're all well. I hope we're all, again, I believe we're all well, again, except for some news I heard from Ty. I don't know if he wants me to speak about it here. And again, my condolences. Let me not get into it too much, except if it permits me to talk about it. I'll do that later in the show. Again, afternoon here in Zambia. Big up, Kuchila. From Zambia, big up to you too, Button Lumbeka. It's been a minute, brother. I know it's been a while since we spoke last. Again, I hope you're doing well. Good afternoon, everyone. Greetings from Cape Town. Emmanuel Obeda, nice to see you, Emmanuel. Thank you so much for joining us. Cape Town, South Africa. I hope, yeah, again, I hope I haven't forgotten that. So thank you, guys. Thank you to you, Ty, for finding time to join. I'm surprised you're strong enough to even participate, but yeah, again, such as live, but again, just stay strong, brother. And thank you to you, to Tebago. I hope you guys are doing well. Tebago, how are you doing today?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Brilliant. I can't complain. How about you, Ty? How are you doing, brother?
I just had to come on, try to take my mind off everything, but I'm just gonna just go through today and see what happens.
Yeah. Again, like I say, just stay strong. I'm not sure if you would like me to talk about fully about why you're again in such mood. But my advice is just stay strong. If it's something that I mean, if you're not strong enough, you don't have to participate. Like I told you, I will find time to call you. Again, I hope you, I don't know, God grants you the fortitude to be at a loss. That's all I can say right now because I'm not sure how much you would want me to let the public know. Let me see what else we have here. We have again, morning guys. Old Havat Kayard. Nice to see you here, brother. I hope you're doing well. Tobago, what's up? What's up? Again, any update out of the list we have there? Do you know about again the Vasco da Gama player? But we get to him a bit. I hope you do know about him because he's a player that I don't
Sorry,
know that much. Sorry.
sorry. There's an issue. I think. Uh, um. Oh, never mind. Never mind. I thought there was something with the title, but I actually realized what it's saying.
Oh, okay. But
I
let
thought
me know if you see any
it was
issues so
saying
that
you
I can
him
fix it.
to Gvardiol, but it's actually saying can Chelsea beat him? Okay, beat him to all those goals.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Tobago, do you know about the Vasco da Gama player?
Yeah, it seems like now there've been two reports so far. Yesterday was a guy from France. France sources now Nisa Cancelo today is confirming it that Chelsea, it seems like Chelsea have beaten likes of PSG to get this kid. But again, he was linked to Newcastle before, so I don't know what happened to Newcastle. So at the moment, I'm just on a low mode until it's done, because there are so many clubs want this kid, and he's so good. I've been watching his videos, but again, videos are videos. So hopefully we get him, because that's the real Chelsea, signing young players, and we made them top talents. So I'll be happy if you're going to secure this kid.
Yeah, again, I don't know him that much except for a few clips that I've seen, and clips aren't enough to define a player, which it has happened to us before. By the time the player arrives, we're seeing a different player altogether. But probably a lot of scouting work has gone into it before the club decides they want to go for the player. But we'll talk about him in a bit. Whatever has happened, I hope things are okay, Ty. That's some message for you from those in the chat. Again, I don't want to. Again, I don't. It's not okay to just start talking about it. Discuss it with those in the chat without your proper permission from you. It's personal, really. So I have to be honest that let's get into it. Let's start immediately and start looking at the topics we have lined up here. This one here, I don't know, did I press F11 here? I shouldn't be showing everything up there. Okay, there you go. Chelsea are in advanced talks and now expected to win the £12 million race to sign Vasco da Gama midfielder Andrey Santos in January, despite interest from PSG. The fact that PSG wants the player, that shows, again, he's a fine player overall. Plus, like I said, the club won't just start going for a young talent like that and be willing to pay £12 million again in total to sign him if they don't see, again, he's a bright talent. So I hope to see him. I'm not going to get into it that much because I don't know him too much. Okay, Ty himself has decided to disclose why he's in such mode. He says, my girlfriend passed away. She was diagnosed with, again, a liver and breast cancer 3 weeks ago. She had a heart attack on Friday, but had a seizure earlier this morning and passed. My condolences to you and your family, Ty. Again, like I said, you don't have to really participate, but you said you're doing it to get your mind off the whole issue. And please stay strong, brother. Again, I know how it feels to lose a loved one. So my condolences to you and your family. We don't need to go into it further. Other than, again, the best thing we know here is that the club, again, will beat PSG to the signature of the player. Let's see what we have here. Let's say that you need a Croatian to win the Champions League. So hope you get Gvardiol so you have many more possibilities, because we already have one. We have Kovacic. Gvardiol, it's a difficult one given what we're hearing, and we'll get into it in a bit. We're moving on. We'll get into talking about Gvardiol, but you made a make a very good point there. That one is passed, and if you know about the kid in question, talk about it. Sorry, Ty?
What about Serbian? Either Croatian or Serbian.
Oh, the Serbians, do they help people win Champions Leagues too? Let's think about it. Do they?
No, I'm saying because when we won it in 2012, we had the Serbian. Is he Serbian?
Yeah, Serbian. You're talking about Branislav Ivanovic. Yeah. He's Serbian. Yeah, maybe, but again, maybe more Croatians have won it more. Maybe that's the case. I don't know. But we will get into that a bit. So, but that's a great point, though. Mason Mount rejecting a new Chelsea contract with more than £200,000 a week before flying out to the World Cup has been described to me as bull, you know what that is, by multiple sources. So it's all nonsense. I know some people were hoping that that's truly the case. So again, he ends up leaving the club because a lot of people don't want him to stay. Unfortunately, as much as I don't think he's the best player at Chelsea, I recognize what he brings to the club. I recognize his capabilities. I recognize the stereotype on him. And I recognize the fact that he does a lot of running on the pitch. Many coaches value him for his, again, the energy he brings to the team and not really his technical ability. And as such, don't pay attention to helping developing into a better player. Tebago, I want to get your thoughts on that. Again, we recognize that it's BS right now. But overall, what do you think about his contract situation at the club? Do you want him to leave or do you want him to stay?
To be honest, I want Mason Mount to stay. He's our boy. He's our academy kid, and then he's been doing good for us. Now at the moment, he's not on form, and then that's normal. Players don't go in form most of the time. Sometimes they drop, and then they'll come back. So hopefully, after the World Cup, he can find his feet and then finish the rest of the season well. So overall, I want Mason Mount to sign the contract.
Why do you think he divides? He's one again after Jorginho. You could argue he's the next player that divides opinion the most in the Chelsea fan base. Most people find it difficult to recognize that he's actually a good player. I'm not saying he is the best at Chelsea, and we seem to forget. It's easy. Seems like a lot of people forget how old he is really. Expecting too much of him, and you could argue because of that energy he brings to the team, managers even when he's underperforming, they still want to play him because they value the energy, the industry he brings to the team more than his technical abilities, more than all the outputs you can get from him. Why do you think that is? And that has translated to the fans, a majority of the fan base not liking him as a player. It's easy to forget how the good stuff is done really when he was on form. What do you think?
And again, if you've been
go ahead.
If you've been reading what we've been saying on the private chat on Twitter, like we had different opinions about Mason Mount getting 300 K per week, which fans don't like. But again, if I always say this, if you've done your research about Todd Bowley doesn't fear to reward players that he trusts big money, especially give them long-term contract. You can't give a player 6 years contract and pay him 150. Doesn't make like that. So overall, I see why Todd Bowley was trying to give this kid over 200,000 per week in order to give him a long-term contract. So I don't know why our fans are so divided about this. Mason Mount have been one of our best players, and then now the moment it's not doing well, and then when it's not doing well, we just throwing bad things into him, which is wrong.
Yeah. It's because Chiller frozen.
Yeah, I think so.
Well, I've given my opinions on Mason Mount numerous times. I've always concluded with the fact that I'm okay if he stays at the club. If he stays or if he leaves, it's not really a big issue because we can always replace him. My concern and my issue with Mason Mount is the fact that he's not consistent, and perhaps you can say that nobody in this squad is consistent enough. I think the issue with Mason Mount is the fact that he's playing in a position. People say he's playing out of position, but for me, I think playing out of position stops being the narrative when you've been playing in that position for more than 2 seasons now. So yes, he may have started off as a central midfielder, but so many players that have started off in a deep position have played in more advanced positions and have thrived. I can use Christopher Nkunku, for example. He started off as a midfielder, and then he was utilized as a wingers forward slash false nine, whatever you want to use. So yes, Mason Mount may have started off as a CM, but that doesn't mean that him being more advanced means his other position. Though I think that story has come to an end because he's been playing as a AM longer than he was playing as a CM for Chelsea. And if you look at it from Lampard days, Lampard was using him more as an AM rather than a CM sitting deeper in the midfield. So I don't really think this narrative of him being out of position is valid anymore. So yes, Mason Mount is a player that he is good. No one can take that away from him. If he wasn't good, he would not have been at the club. He would not have helped the team to win the Champions League because he played an integral role in the Champions League win. He played an integral role in the trophies that we won and the games that led us to those finals that we, obviously won the trophies in. So yes, he's a good player. The issue with him is that he isn't consistent enough. And at the time of when he was being offered that contract, to me personally, I'm not going to hide away from it. I did say that I don't understand it because it's like you're awarding mediocrity. And if you're going to be offering somebody a contract whilst they're not doing their job effectively, it makes no sense. And I use this example of if you see somebody, and I look at it from the perspective that there's other players that are not being offered that luxury of getting new contracts whilst doing good enough, but somebody that was not doing good at that time is getting a contract because of his long-term connection to the club. I don't understand it. Yes, you can have somebody at the club that understands dynamics, been at the club since youth days, but at the same time, it's important that you're able to look at the fact that at that time when you're offering him the contract, he's not at the highest level. Yes, James got a contract, and at that time was understandable because he was actually doing good. So awarding him for what he's been doing and the success that he's been bringing to the team. Mason brought success, but at the time when you offer him a contract, it just doesn't seem valid because it looks as if, okay, he's doing bad, but it doesn't matter. He's a youth product, so we're gonna give him a new contract. It's gonna give the wrong impression, although that's not the look you want to give. Mason rejecting the contract, quote unquote, is something that surprises me because if he wasn't still at the club like he
but
states
we're
he is,
hearing that is absolute BS.
yeah, which is why I said quote unquote because that's stupid. He's not gonna do so. I don't think that's the case. I think it's simply that they have a principal agreement of this is what we're gonna do to you. I don't think there's any contractual side where I'm going to disagree or agree with this or no, I'm not gonna agree to this deal or I'm not gonna do this. I don't believe it. So the whole logic of this thing is foolish. I think that fans will believe this. I don't think it's true. I don't really think it is. I
Okay,
believe that he can
go
develop.
ahead.
Like you stated, Cotillo, he's still young. He still has a lot of developing to do. And I mean, for what he's done so far at his age is impressive. It's amazing. He's done a lot of good things. The issue is the amount of wages that he's being offered worthy? Is it something that if you give it, he'll be able to still perform at that highest level? Because we've seen that when a player reaches a certain area or a rank where they're earning certain amount of money, they drop in performance. They believe that okay, I'm earning this amount of money, so it doesn't matter how I play because I'm going to be getting paid no matter what. We signed Sterling, we gave him 300,000 plus in wages, and he hasn't really lived up to what we were hoping from him. So this always going to have that issue of you investing in a player, giving him that amount of money, and then your faith is not paid back by that player. But I think he deserves a contract based on what he's done for the club. I just think that the timing of it seemed a bit odd because he wasn't performing at the highest level.
Yeah, I think you
But
make
again,
a good contribution there. Go ahead, Tebago, if you want to say something, say. There's a question I want to start Roger with. And Roger, thank you so much for finding the time to join the show. Go ahead, Tebago, you wanted to say something, brother.
but again, Ty, I think like we should learn about what happened with likes of Rudiger and Christensen. Remember, if like we don't give this kid a contract now, and then he drags it, he finds his form, he's doing well until 6 months left on his contract, he's able to sign for another team. What will happen to us again? Do you think Chelsea should do the same things that were done under Roman Abramovich? So I feel like the club are trying all means to secure the kid now rather than later. It's my view of that. I don't mind the argument about the time of the contract, but again, it's left with 18 months. So do you think is that as advisable to let it drag until later?
It
Here's
doesn't.
what how I'm
Doesn't.
going to
But
respond to that one.
I'll
If the
respond.
club, if the club really wants him to stay, then they're playing a dangerous game. The
Yeah.
whole thing comes down to whether they really want him to stay, but I think they do. I think he still has more to offer. Remember, again, like Ty pointed out, most people seem to look beyond his age and expect too much of him. But I'm going to come back to Roger with the next question, which I think is very important that comes to mind. Ty, you wanted to say something before I catch up with what we have in the chat before it becomes too much.
Yeah, I was gonna simply say that I think the issue with the whole contract thing with Rudiger and Christensen is that at that time it did look advisable to give them a contract leading up until to when Tuchel came in and they performed good. I mean, there was a point even at that same season he won the Champions League where Lampard wanted them to be sold. He said, "Okay, if Rudiger wants to leave, let him leave." Christensen, I'm okay with them leaving. So I think that issue comes down to the fact that one manager wanted them to stay and the other one did not want them to stay, so no contract was offered to them then. But I get your point.
Yeah, just quickly, I'm going to catch up with the chat. And again, we must remember at one point those players wanted to leave, really. And like Ty pointed out, more importantly, they weren't doing well under Frank Lampard. And some of us, again, even I at one point gave up on Rudiger. Not until the arrival of Thomas Tuchel that he became a different, an entirely new player, unrecognizable, actually. Even himself admitted at one point that he was everything people thought he was. He was poor. He recognized that. But that's, by the way, again, let's see what we have in the chat. Ty, lots of love for you. I hope you can see them. Condolences. Again, my prayers to you and your family. Thank you so much for all the love coming for Ty. And here we have, and Ty says, thank you. Again, getting a therapeutic help. Again, have a therapy session earlier on the day. That will be very helpful. Ty, condolences. As you can see, quite a lot of them. Take care, Ty, says CFC OG. And it looks like I missed one of your messages here where you said something. Yes, it's been a while. I had to take time off to recover mentally and otherwise. And I was under the weather. I had a cold. I wasn't sure whether it was a C word or not, but I weathered it out and I'm better now. Take care. Take care of and look after yourself, Ty. That's very important. Yes, it's been a while, brother. I hope you're doing well. And whenever you can, if you're a mod here, you have a channel, you have every right to share the link to your channel. It's Kami says, I can't even imagine what you're going through. Stay strong, Ty, and condolences to you and your family. Please do stay strong. Good morning again. Yes, Abisha Moha. It's been a minute, brother. I hope you're doing well. Thank you so much for finding the time to join. I hope you're doing well. Please like and subscribe when you enter. If you have not, as it helps the channel reach a wider audience. We have 19 likes now. We should be doing better than that. Yes, subscribe, and like the stream. Let him go again. Why does he refuse to sign if he isn't? If he's from the academy, we don't care about him. We care about a Chelsea club. Buy all the new players. Let him go. Says again, a button Lambeka. The truth remains, in terms of how much a player is asking, I usually don't like to talk about it. And here's the reason. It is business for the players as much as it is business for the owners of the club. And if you're working for an organization, you usually ask for how much you deserve. You usually go, again, if you have multiple offers, I usually go for, again, decide to work for the organization that pays you what you believe you're worth. So the monetary aspect of the whole thing isn't really my concern. Coach First thinking, that's hilarious. Good way to put it, Lala. Ty, so sorry to hear this, Bergen. My sincere prayers are with you and her family. Yes, of course. Again, God bless. Yes, God bless indeed, Ty. We signed a Brazilian. Have we really? Siobhan, can you talk about the Brazilian in question? I really want to know the Brazilian you're talking about. So I'm coming to you, Roger. Good morning to you. I hope you're well. Again, we did the England pre-game show, and it was nearly the score line I predicted, just one above. The question I want to ask you is this. Ty talked about inconsistency when he talked about Mason Mount. If you want to talk about the contract situation, you go ahead. But I really want to understand. My concern is, again, the inconsistency we're seeing from him. Is it really down? Again, has it been down to him, or the managers? The way, again, he's not played constantly in a particular position. It's always one position, the other position BC. Again, that alone, you could say, is strong enough to confuse a young player that is still, you could say, he's still developing as a player. Your thoughts, Roger?
Yeah, well, as you can hear, good afternoon and good morning to you, gentlemen.
Thank you so much, and then good morning and good afternoon to you.
First of all, I'm not sure. I've just found out or just heard. So I believe, Ty, I'm so sorry for your loss. I have no idea who's passed, but my condolences and sincere wishes for you, sir. So that's what I wanted to say.
For saying that, Roger.
Yeah, and second of all, I just want to quickly announce my new channel. It's at potterandSouthgate.co.uk. Just kidding.
Okay, but go ahead.
Okay, to your question, seriously,
Mm-hmm.
I think no, I don't believe that having Mount in a myriad of different positions has added to that. It's possible. I think, listen, I can't remember a professional footballer or actually sports person in any field, whether it be golf, tennis, bowling, you name the sport, that doesn't have a bad patch that goes quote unquote out of form, whether it be short term or sometimes even half a season or so. He's human. If you cut him, he bleeds blue, I hope. But class is permanent, form is temporary, as the saying goes, or words to that effect. I think he's played too much, Coach. And I think you've said this for
Yeah,
quite
I think
some
we've had
time.
that argument that he's been overplayed.
Yeah, I think there could be. Listen, he's what, 23? He's nearly 24 in 2 months' time. But when you're playing 50 to 60 games a year for the last couple of years, it eventually catches up to you. Even if you're 18 to 20, it catches up to you eventually. He's human. As regarding the contract itself, it's hard to say. Listen, these chaps earn monopoly money. Is he worth it? I don't think any footballer is worth the money they're paid. But I think when you consider that Mount, this is his third season for Chelsea, correct? In the actual the main team, senior team, and then he played a year for Derby, and he's been playing at a very high level for the last 3+ years. I think you have to really look at his whole how shall I put this, his whole career thus far, and see that he has actually been very consistent and quite productive and very industrious. And listen, I know I'm old-fashioned, but you need people like Mount.
That's understandable. Yeah, that's a fact.
That they are the engine in the team. The midfield is the engine of the team. If you look at a car, you open up the bonnet, you're not moving anywhere without that engine, or power plant as it's called now. I think maybe he should listen. And now he's in the World Cup and he's out of form. You can see, even though his industry doesn't stop. So perhaps he needs to reevaluate, perhaps, how he is playing. Maybe be less industrious and maybe work on being more like a Frank Lampard. Not that he wasn't industrious, but and that's for listen, you is he a number 8? Is he a number 10? He's actually said, if I'm not mistaken, that he recognizes himself. I'm not sure whether he said he prefers being in the midfield, but I think he did, if I'm not mistaken. So, maybe he does prefer playing deeper, and then like Lampard coming into the box later, as opposed to playing on the right wing where he predominantly plays for Chelsea. So that could be a fact, and it really could. Who knows? But I think if he was asked to play in goal, he would do it. He's been with Chelsea since he was 8, if I'm not mistaken, or 9. So I think he's a very good presence in the locker room, from what we can tell. You can tell there's chemistry, even in the England squad. He's very much liked. And
you can say, let me say it like in English, man. He's a friendly chap.
Yeah, he is. And I can't remember which TV channel it was, but whether it was American or English. But it's like, he's the common denominator. Every single coach he's played under plays him every single time, the vast majority of the time. Why is that? Whether it be for Nation or for Chelsea, whether it's Frank, Thomas, and Graham. So there's 4 coaches that have done the same thing. So you've got, over a period of 3 to 4 years, you've got 4 coaches that value him highly. What does that tell you? And you're right. I don't understand how he is so divisive. I simply don't get it. You know, it's way over my head. Sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
The portrayal of some people. This is the thing. When one person says something, it gets generalized. I'm pretty sure a lot of people, or I think everybody here knows Johnny, and I think many people, although it's
Mineral, yeah.
I think although it's foolish in my opinion, a lot of people will look at the fact that he says something like Baseball has the minerals and future captain, whatever the case may be. So what people do is that they will hope that Baseball performs badly so that they can banter him and they can say all type of things to say, oh, your future captain is doing this or whatever the case may be. I think the issue is that because he says that
social media BS. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I think this is the thing as well, because social media is the well-known population of Chelsea fans. It's gonna be that there's a divisive thing happening there. Although if you look at it, the fans that go to the games, they're not divisive like that to say, oh, baseball gets over or things like that. You'll only have a minimal amount that will have that opinion that baseball is not good enough. But the fans that go to the games are supportive. They're ones that will cheer on the team and, well, when they should, and they'll hope for the best for those players. But social media is filled with people that bring down the players and say that, oh, this player is bad and he needs to leave and he needs to go, and whatever the case may be. I think the issue is that because Johnny is the well-known fan of Mason Mount, it gives people this sense that if he performs bad, it looks bad on Johnny. So I think one of the reasons why there's a divide is that people want him to do bad so that they can, insult Johnny. And I think another one is the fact that they just simply have these high expectations for him because he's this player and he's been playing and they believe that other players should be playing over him. So I think there's a lot of issues where people just want to see him do badly so that they don't see him play overall.
So you're saying that because social media erases their expectations, and when he doesn't live up to them, then there's a window of opportunity to actually, let's say, be critical. Yeah, I get it now. I get it. That's a very good logic, because Johnny is, he can be, in all likelihood, he's a provocateur then, whether it's knowingly or unknowingly.
I mean, I think it's knowingly, really.
Yeah, I think I'm trying to be diplomatic.
Some people will have the right to argue that he's been paid to do that. Really.
Yeah, coach, work with me. I'm being diplomatic. Order.
Let me catch up with the chat. I want to come on in and big up to IBZ for finding the time to join. It's been a minute, brother. I'm going to come get his thoughts on why Mason Mount again divides opinion the most right now. Again, even more than Jorginho does. Again, within the Chelsea fan base, then we can move on from that topic. Again, Chivon is telling us that we've signed Andrey Santos, a midfielder. That's the Vasco da Gama guys. I don't know, have we signed him already? Or Keith, so to speak. Morning Blues, morning Kachila, morning to you too, Mikhail. Thank you so much for finding the time to join the show. I appreciate that. Again, before I continue getting what we have in the chat, if you haven't, take a second to drop a like on the stream and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Sincere condolences to you, Ty, from Mikhail. And also, again, subscribe to TyTalkzCFC, 91 away from reaching 700 with you. Please go check it out. Believe me, you will like it, and you will thank me later. Regards to the panel, regards to you too, brother. Thank you so much for listening. I know you're probably at work right now. Regards to the panel. He says, again, I would love Kai and Mount wanted to leave or both. Bring in a new tactical players. Again, these boys have lost it for Chelsea. Again, you have every right to argue that. Again, overall, you could say the whole squad, we haven't seen, again, any measure of unacceptable consistency from them, except from Thiago Silva and Kepa when he was still fit. But I don't want to get into that argument. It's everywhere, really. And Lee joins. He says, hi, again, a long time since I've had time to be on. Again, hope you're well. I hope you're well. More importantly, we haven't streamed for nearly 2 weeks now. I'm not sure how long. But more importantly, I hope you're doing well, brother. I understand bills don't pay themselves, so we're all busy. Hit the like button, people, and subscribe to the channel. Yes, do that. And the beautiful game says again, he's got 4 managers sacked. Yeah, it's all about perspective. Again, the Chelsea perspective.
Yes.
See what I did there? Yeah, good job. And I miss you, brother. Thank you so much for that creative contribution there. Yeah, I really do love it. I hope you're well, bro. Again, this is the Coolest Chels. The link.
Which four managers?
Yeah. Can you really elaborate the beautiful game? What manager he got sacked, and again the manager
we have not had 4 managers in the last 4 years.
Yeah, he can. Maybe he's seeing it from another
3
perspective.
Chelsea and 1 England.
Yeah. Okay.
That's funny,
Hi to all the mods. Hi to you too. Yeah, I know you're a bit rusty right now. Oh my goodness. I know you're a bit rusty right now, Lee. Hopefully you don't again pocket time out somebody like you did the last time. I'm just kidding. You're welcome back, brother. IBZ, big up, bro. How are you doing, man? Coming to you, bro. Your thoughts on why Mason Mount's a right opinion, and if you have time, again, if you're willing to talk about it, I want to know the lack of consistency that people have talked about. Do you think, the lack of consistency is that, again, has always been down to him, or the managers not playing him consistently in a particular position? Because to me, I'd argue playing a young player in multiple positions can lead to them not mastering one, or maybe needing to readjust to do well in the new position. Your thoughts, IVZ?
Yeah, man. Big up everyone, man. Long time.
Big up to you too, brother. It's been a minute, and I hope you're enjoying the World Cup.
Oh, we thank God.
Alright.
I enjoy no day, but we thank God. At least Ghana is on a good day. Yeah, man. I don't know. I don't know why everyone's talking about Mason Mount. What did he do wrong? What has he done? The
whole conversation started, but we don't want to dwell so much about the reports that he rejected a £200 a week contract. We want to talk about other reasons why we feel like he divides opinion within the Chelsea fan base. Some wanting to leave. Some actually were happy that he rejected it and hoping that he leaves. Some are asking who does he think he is. Even I have a friend I love so much that said that on Twitter. But I'm not going to say his name so he doesn't misunderstand it. But again, that's my point there. Why do you think that is? Why do you think he divides opinion? Some people don't understand what he brings to the team, really.
Boy, if you don't know what he brings to the team, then I'll leave you to reanalyze it. I can't be asked to evaluate you. That's another discussion. Boy, if you're going to tie someone down for nearly 10 years, you're going to make sure that their 10 years is going to be sufficible, and he's not agreeing to it. You're tying him down for 7 to 10 years. Obviously, it will be 7-year deal, but, a long time. So he's got to look after. 7 years is a long time. It's not a short period of 2 years, 3 years. So he's got to look after himself there. And if he feels those terms are not good enough, is it coming out of your money? Is it coming out of your dad's money? Is it coming out of anyone else's money? It's not. So he's got to do what's best for him. So your agenda towards who does he think he is irrelevant. He's a Chelsea player. He gets money. He earns the right to dictate.
It is business for all parties.
That's his own business. It's his own money. He has the right to determine how much he believes he is worth. It's none of our business. We're just consumers. So if he's going to get tied down for 7 years, I believe he would need to have the right to have a say in his own direction of travel. Irrelevant. But obviously people have agendas. So when they see this and you add it to their agenda, they're going to create a conclusion as to say, oh, who is this guy? Or who does he think he is? He's Chelsea through and through. People are saying, oh, if he is proper Chelsea, he should not take the big deal. I'm saying, hang on, who should he give in to? Should he give in to us or should he give in to himself? It is what it is, coach. I just believe that the kid is he's gonna sign. I don't believe it's gonna a problem of when he will sign, but he just needs to make sure it's the right package for him. That's it. for the sake of argument and for the sake of Chelsea agenda, I hope if it is what it is, I hope this kid leaves Chelsea. We don't win anything for 10 years, and this guy just goes up and up and up and up and up in the trajectory. For the sake of argument and for the sake of devil's advocacy, if that's the case, Mason Mount leaves and he goes up and up and up and up, win trophies, and we win nothing for another decade. I'll be satisfied, because that is how toxic we are, and that shows that we don't deserve anything good. We see something good, we drive it away, and that's just my honesty. I will rather, if that case be, I'll rather Mason Mount leave Chelsea Football Club, goes to another club, wins abundance of trophies. His trophy cabinet is full of anything, and Chelsea with nothing for the next 10 years. I'll be satisfied, because it goes to show that our fan base don't deserve anything good. That's my opinion.
Yeah, because the truth remains, as much as I don't think he's the best player at Chelsea, if he was playing for another club, would be willing to pay again nearly 100 million, at least 50 million plus to get him. That's just the truth. Again, we don't pay attention to how it's been overplayed. The managers like Thomas Tuchel, who kept playing him even when he was, mentally tired, really.
Just to add to that, I mean, we as consumers, we have no faith, we have no coaching badges, we're not trainers, we're not coaches. But 4 different managers, be it in the national team or the club side, have used this guy on end. He must be doing something. He can't all be, excuse my French, he can't all be sucking their nuts off. I'm so sorry. He can't all be doing that. He must be doing something. Hard working. He's training. Colleagues are saying this guy's got a head on when he comes. So he must be doing something for him to warrant a place on the pitch. And if it's not good enough for you to see, then cry about it. I'm so sorry. That's just my humble opinion. The guy's there. He does his job. What do you want him to do? Score goals like Lampard? He ain't going to do that. Not everyone could do that. Not everyone can do that. So, boy, just understand what you have. Appreciate what you have. Because if another man touches him, you're going to cry, and the cry will come out so hard, no tears will come out. That's how bad it is. And I echo someone. I say our fan base don't deserve anything good, because we don't deserve anything good. Because of narratives like this, we don't deserve anything good. So, for the basis of argument, for the basis of devil's advocacy, let Mason Mount leave. You win another trophy, 10 Champions League, Premier Leagues, whatever, and we don't win anything for a decade, I'll be so satisfied, because we don't deserve it. I'll be so happy for him, 100%. Because the flack he's getting, I don't understand what I don't get it. What's he supposed to do? He's either part of the problem that we've been facing. So yeah, that's it.
Yeah, quickly, I'm going to catch up with the fans' opinion in the chat, and then we can move on to the next topic. And here again, Potters and Southgate by the end of the season. Again, clip this. I get your argument there, but here's the thing: Southgate, if England does well, he keeps his job. England's are not knowing to relieve managers of their job. How as well to sack managers? They give them enough time to turn things around. And I think England, you could say, they haven't been in terms of record. As much as I think. What's his name? Southgate is a great manager or a tactical mastermind, or however you want to phrase it. I think they actually done well under him, really. In terms of Potter, I don't know what to say, but we'll see what happens, really. But I don't know where I am, whether I'm still, again, I'll find out where I am by the time 2 games into after the season resumes. So I'll find out where I am, whether on the fence or whether I've crossed the fence, or whether I'm on the verge of landing on the other side of the fence. But we'll find out.
Coach,
no pocket.
2 games, Coach. 2 games. Come on. It's got to be at least another 10, 20 games.
Yeah, let's see what happens, really. Again, if you're watching, if you haven't taken a second to drop a like on the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't.
Fast, though.
Sorry?
That comes fast. 10 to 20 games comes very fast.
Well, so, it comes a lot slower than 2.
Let's see what happens again. Yeah, and to help matters, to help him do well, really. We have Manchester City we'll be playing them very soon. But that's, by the way, no pocket timeout. I am on my PC and not on the phone. I was joking, brother. I just wanted to pull your legs a bit. Mount is just not good. he is overrated. Say it again, the zombie fanatic. Again, you have every right entitled to your argument. I don't think the case is how good the player is. I think there's been other factors leading to him leading to him not to have performed consistently as most people expect. But unfortunately, people don't pay attention to that. They jump to conclusion. Again, like I said, you have every right to express yourself. And welcome to the channel, by the way. And please do drop a like on the stream and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Lee said Mason hasn't done anything wrong. Again, yeah, that's the truth. He hasn't. Wait until he gets back from the World Cup and then he will sign. I think the club wants to keep him. And it doesn't really matter what the fan base think, whether it be 60, 70, 90, 80% of the fan base wants him to leave. I don't think that changes anything. It doesn't wield any measure of influence on what the club wants to do. And I think they want to keep him. And like we've learned, given this comments here, again, the rumors that he rejected a £200 a week offer from the club is just absolute horse juju. But I'm not going to get into that, by the way. Again, to me, I don't think he's the best player at the club. And also, again, I can defend him saying these are the reasons why he's performed badly. But that's, by the way, again, Coach, again, have we spoken about the City doubleheader in 1 week and the clear FA agenda against Chelsea? Now you're making excuses, really. You, even without knowing it, you're on Potter's side right now. So you're blaming I'm going to highlight this. I think we should talk about this later. You're really blaming the FA already while the game hasn't been played. You're working for Potter without even knowing it. So to all the haters for him not signing, would you work somewhere or sign a new contract that wasn't right for you? Would you take less money? I wouldn't. And that's why I say I honestly do hate talking about how much a particular player is asking a club. If I talk about it, it'd be whether the player is worth it or not. Even that, I hate doing that. It is business for all parties involved. It's up to the club to evaluate and say he's worth it. And to me, I think, I don't know how much he's asking really, because it's all speculations at this point. There's no way people will leak. Again, they will have a meeting with Mason Mount's camp and it comes out and we'll hear the exact amount he's asking the club. I don't think that's even possible, especially now in the hands of, again, the regime has changed. If you want to see it that way, Bole has changed a lot of people in the club's hierarchy. So within the club's hierarchy, so there's no way telling how much he was asking anyway. So, but it's clickbait. The media, they just put out something that they know people would like, are interested in reading about, and again, exactly. And it flies really. It takes off. So I'm not going to talk about how much he's asking because, yeah, it's bull crap like you're seeing on the screen. And also, why would the big clubs be sniffing around him if he doesn't sign? That's the thing. And some people are saying, let him go, let him go, let him go. Again, that shows you he's a good player, really. He's a good player, and I have my argument as to why he hasn't been consistent enough. But we'll get into that in a bit. The question is, would you pay him Reece James's money? Because he actually wants more. Here's the thing, I love you, bro, the beautiful game. How do you know he wants more? That's the thing. We don't know that. And as the rumors, again, even Fabrizio Romano have reported that it's all nonsense, that he rejected the £200 a week salary. Maybe there are other factors that's led to them not to have agreed terms on the contract that we don't know. So, but again, I get your argument there. If it were up to me, I wouldn't pay every player an equal amount. Go ahead. You wanted to say something, Roger. But just quickly, I have two more comments there. And Lee says, again, I'd pay him the same money that Reece is getting. That's you. Other people, and I'm not going to say whether I'd pay him more or less. I'm not going to talk about that. No one in the team this season has played 100%. I think I've said that before, really. Again, but it makes sense for you to reinforce that, really. All of them, except for Thiago Silva and Kepa Arrizabalaga, those are the only two players you can argue, maybe Chalobah, have been consistent, again, to an acceptable measure. Go ahead, Roger, you wanted to say something.
Yeah, has Mason or anyone in his camp actually commented on how much he's going for or what he's rejected or accepted? No, I don't believe anyone has, correct? So this is all reports, second-hand reports. Therefore, it could be pure conjecture. Simple as that, clickbait. So I think it's a moot point. I really do. I think unless we hear from his camp or himself, then, the reports, what sources are these? Are these credible sources? This is the most important thing, the credibility of the source. And even credible sources get it wrong sometimes.
Go ahead.
Unless you actually hear from his camp, then I don't think we should judge him accordingly. That's my belief.
Again, unfortunately, that's never going to happen. And
Do you see my point, though?
yeah, just 1 second. Let me type something. Go ahead. I'll join you in a bit.
Yeah. So, listen. Maybe it's because I'm old-fashioned, and I really don't. I don't live on social media, the Twitter sphere, etc. I just don't. I seldom ever use it. So, I just don't get it. Maybe it's the younger generation, and maybe there is so much clickbait out there that maybe they subscribe to so many theories in that regard. I personally don't. Listen, I think these modern players are being paid obscene amounts of money. However, we all have a job, we all have careers, and I don't think it's fair that people would you like it if someone at your work goes, no, I don't think you're worth that amount. I think you should be paid less or more. This is a very personal
as much as
matter.
I don't think it's not fair, but people have every right to speak about it. But the manner in which they go about it is concerning, really.
That's true, but it is actually a personal matter. Your actual, unless it's a publicly owned company where you have shares in it, then no, actually, it's none of our business. The only business we have is when we pay for a game, whether it be via a TV contract or at the turnstiles, as they say, where you actually go to the game. If you're a paying customer, then you have a right to critique his abilities. But the actual individualistic contract of how much a person's worth, I don't think it's any of our business. I think it's quite a personal matter. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, it is indeed. I'm going to say this. I'm not saying he's the best player at Chelsea, but I'm not saying he's the worst, really.
I think he's one of the best. I think he's up
that's your opinion.
Yeah,
you could argue that too.
I think he's in the upper echelon of our best players. I don't think he's our best player.
No, I don't think. Yeah, but that's a different argument altogether, really. And here we have again the beautiful game saying, has there been any legitimate interest from any other club that might help his cause? Not even, again, the brown envelopes are conjuring up any interest from other parties. I know you're a mod on Johnny's channel. I'm wondering, how do you two get along? You get my point now. He's a mod on Johnny's channel, and I've seen him there. So I'm just wondering, how did they get along? But again, I get your argument. There's no, as much as if I argue, there's no way to tell how much it's asked. It'd be, again, legit to also argue there's no way to tell other clubs are interested in him. So let's just leave it at that. But again, we should, whenever we judge our players, we should at least try to judge them objectively. Like I said, I can get into an argument with somebody as to why I believe Mason Mount isn't really a bad player, and as to why I think the lack of consistency we're seeing of him of late, that isn't really down to him, really. It's the managers, how their managers playing time and how much, they play him. Again, people come out with these reports like they are in the room discussing negotiations. At the end of the day, it's no one's business. That's just the truth. Like I said, again, Coach, I have to bring I love this, brother. I have to bring balance to the universe. It's important. And without the argument, again, we're not going to learn anything. That's why it's important we have differing opinions. And then we talk about it and try to make sense of the whole situations That's not balance. Okay, you slug it out with him. Again, we have quite a lot to talk about. We move on here. This one here, it says again, an asking price of 35 million to send Christian Pulisic has been unmuted. As it stands, Pulisic has no desire to extend, and Todd Bowley and Behad Igali have 2 windows to recoup significant value for a player who signed for £58 million. Now, there's another comment, another thing I saw that he's saying he's happy at Chelsea. To me, he's never going to come out and say he's not happy, really. To me,
he may.
Yeah, but it hasn't been that bad, really. Even if it's that bad, he's not going to come out and say.
Pulisic.
Again, yeah, it's hard to trust him, really, given everything we've witnessed with him. You could say, even if he wants to leave,
I have that feeling also.
Yeah, I think he wants to leave, really, but he's not going to say it. Lots of interest and life again, the start to life for him on the ground, Potter. You can say will probably remind him of the things he went through under Thomas Tuchel, really. Coach, and on the ground, Potter, you could say even worse. Because Thomas Tuchel played him, there was time he played him consistently when he showed good form. And he only dropped out when he got injured.
Coach, when he plays for America, someone brought up, I think it was Steve Nicol on ESPN FC. And basically had said, listen, he's so different when he plays for his national team. And it's because he knows he is starting every week. So mentally, psychologically speaking, you know, he's not under the pressure, or if I make a mistake, or if I do something wrong, or if I don't have a great game, I'm going to be benched again. He knows he's going to play every game for the US, virtually, you know, but he doesn't have that security blanket when he plays for Chelsea. This could be, quote unquote, smothering him. So,
but let me ask you this: if we're talking about game time, Roger, if we're talking about game time as a problem, really, will he get that in big clubs? In him playing consistently, he will never.
I'm asking. Well, it all depends. I'm asking, do you subscribe to that theory? Because it does make sense to a certain extent. What Steve Nicol had said, it does. You know, but some people may react that way. I'm not sure. I've never been a professional footballer, so I can't really relate to that mindset. So it's hard for me to comment on that. But it does make common sense what he says. So, some players could be affected by that security, and some actually you could argue conversely that it should motivate a person to play even better. So I don't know. But some people are very different, their mindsets. And let's not forget, these are very young men. You know, they're so young. You know, they're in their early to mid-20s.
For Chelsea fans, age and nothing but a number, really.
Yeah, no, that's true.
He says, yeah. I'm gonna get Ty's opinion just quickly because we have quite a lot. We haven't even talked about Nkunku, Gvardiol, and others. But we get there, really.
We need to speak about Chelsea players in the World Cup.
Yeah, we will. Again, that's probably a topic for another day. We'll talk about that because we'll have, again, if we have enough time today. Again, I am going to go into my office. Pay attention to what this guy did here. I am going to go into my office on Monday and run around passionately and create space in the office to see if I too can get up there.
I love that semi-football / work experience.
Real life.
Run around passionately. Run around passionately.
Good luck if you're an accountant.
Oh my goodness, this is hilarious. I love this brother, man.
he brings it every week, doesn't he?
Even if you're arguing against him, he finds a way to make you. Sometimes, if you're not strong with your argument, you start rethinking it. Just look at this analogy right here. That's seriously hilarious. Let me catch up with what we have in the chat. I want to get Ty's opinion on the Pulisic case. It's complicated, not really easy, but this is a delicious comment, I must say. Again, James and Winger. James, nice to see you here, brother. I hope you're doing well. And I think this is your first time here because I usually recognize names I've seen before. If you haven't, please do take a second to drop a like on the stream and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Nepotism running in Chelsea. Other players may have a run of awful games, but not benched. Pulisic out of favor with many coaches. This one is a bit too deep for me. Ty, again, let me ask you this. Tebago, before I go to Ty with that Pulisic comment on the screen, Tebago, do you want to address this one, or should I go to Roger? Maybe he understands it better. Okay, Roger, you go ahead. Go ahead, Tebago. Can you address this one?
Yeah, let me just read the
How does
question.
that work?
Okay, go ahead, Tebago, since you're ready. Sorry, Roger, I'll come back to you. Go ahead, Tebago.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, I'm just laughing at this question. Like, nepotism running in Chelsea. Other players may have a run of awful games, but not benched. Pushes out of favor with many coaches. I think it was Roger or who's that? ABC. He said
IBZ,
that yes, the coaches are only seeing the players during training, and then we don't know what Pulisic offer at training. But again, clearly we can see now Pulisic is not favored by.
Seriously, Tebago doesn't forget anything. So where did you sniff out that one from? And I remember Roger saying that, but go ahead.
So clearly we can see some players are not favored by the coaches. Even Ziyech is a good player, but again, he's not being favored by Thomas Tuchel, now Graham Potter. So we can see why some players will be benched, even they are playing good, because they're not favored by the other managers. It's how it is, unfortunately.
Okay, just quickly here. Again, this is Miko. Give me 300K a week. I would. Oh my goodness, you guys are not nice people. Be careful so you can go to heaven. Really, be careful. What is this?
Wow.
Okay, Chelsea Boy says he should go to a small club again, and then because he gets the opportunity to start, he still go and fluff his lines again. He shouldn't be whining so much of a professional player that he should focus on playing. I think he's talking about Christian Pulisic, and that brings to mind the question I asked. He's not going if game time is the issue, really. He's not going to be getting that much game time if he goes to club like Liverpool or to the big clubs where they have deep squads, where they rotate. He has to go to a smaller club. No, not really small, but like you could say the up and coming clubs, like because we have that now. Like Newcastle United is still looking to sign big name players, again, pay them big money. It will work for him. He becomes the main guy there. I'm sensing to a certain point, as much as I think Graham Potter hasn't treated him fairly, I'm sensing there's a chance he has what Ty calls, again, is it the big name or is the main guy syndrome? There's a chance he has a bit of that, but I'm not going to jump to the conclusion and say he has that problem.
I have a feeling he is, as they say in the States, drinking the Kool-Aid, because from an American national perspective, he is the Michael Jordan of football / soccer.
Oh, there's actually a video on that, really.
But
some individual made a video calling him that. But go ahead, yeah.
Now, because he's been injured, you have a look at social media and the channels. They're thinking, "Oh, can we advance?" It's like you've lost the greatest thing since sliced bread, in American terms. But you know, you look at other countries, and I'm being really polite and respectful here, but he wouldn't be starting or playing considerably for most other nations. So everything has to be put in perspective.
Here's the thing. I think other clubs' interest in him goes beyond his playing ability. They understand the size of the US market.
Yeah, it's a commercial aspect.
So,
yeah,
and you could
that's
say,
a huge factor, coach. That's
indeed, it is. It is.
Who is it that Mark something that ESPN, the Manchester reporter that's always on ESPN FC, not Jog, but what's his name? I forgot his name. So anyway, but he was mentioning this week that he would be a huge asset for Man U, commercially speaking, because they understand.
Man U, Newcastle, Liverpool, all of them.
Yeah, but Man U specifically, because they understand. Well, didn't they have Chevrolet for a long time, or do they still have them as their main sponsor? So
not right now, I don't think.
Okay, no,
I don't remember really.
Yeah, it used to be Chevrolet. I'm trying to think. It's so basically, they understand the concept because they're American themselves. They understand how the American system works with regards to advertising, etc. And if you have a product, and I use a football player in this term, a product that is commercially viable, then they sell a lot of shirts. I mean, and picture rights, etc. So he's multi-dimensional in that regard. He's not just a product on the field, but also off the field in commercial viability. And I think that's very important we understand that. So I get it. He's a multi-dimensional facet and asset in this regard. Having said that,
you have to be honest,
having
he's
said
a good
that,
player.
Yes, he is. He, as I've said this many times, until he pulled his hamstring in that FA Cup final, he was our best player for the most part, at least going forward. Kante is our best player, but he's a very dynamic, fluid, and he was clinical for the most part. It may be the systems he's being utilized in Chelsea doesn't suit him, but he should be more, dynamic in that regard. But I still believe he's physicality. I think the Premier League, I don't think is best suited for him. I really don't. And that's my opinion.
I still think, I think the whole thing comes down to...
He needs to man up.
Yeah, when you talk about a team... Yeah, when you talk about again how a team plays, there are two levels of application: the manager's application, the player's own application. Yes. I think the whole thing comes down to the manager's application, because we've had players.
I think that's fair. I think that's fair. Yeah.
Yeah, and you could argue there are also players who are even softer than him in terms of physicality. They've done well in the Premier League. Okay, we have to accept that. So again, to me, he's a fine player.
Give me an example. Ziyech, because Ziyech is
no, I'm not going to talk about. Let's be honest. David Silva isn't the most physical. He isn't.
Sure, but he.
What's this Brazilian that came back and now plays for Aston Villa? What's his name? From Barcelona, sold by Liverpool to Barcelona. He isn't the most physical, really. A few of them. Fabregas isn't. One matter isn't. Those players are the most
Bernardo Silva, yeah. Coach Bernardo Silva, David Silva, they're very slight. Hold on one second. But you're right, though, in that regard, they're very slight, but they don't go forward like he does, his application. He's very similar to a Grealish, where he wants to dribble, and therefore he's cut down on the ball. If you look at people that are slight, like a David Silva or Bernardo Silva, they get rid of the ball straight away, so they avoid this contact. They're not mad.
I think we should talk. I think we should reserve this fight, because we're here to talk transfers. And again, we should reserve this fight when we start the player performance review, of which I want us to start it as soon as tomorrow, so that we can get it done before the World Cup starts. My argument is that he's a fine player, and believe me, like I've said, two levels
I agree.
Layers of application: the manager's application, the player's application. You could argue the manager's application trumps the player's application, because the managers demand, like the language I use often, can cause a player to underperform or become a world-class player. But we're not going to get into that deep. But that's by the way.
Statement, Coach.
Yeah, and one thing we both cannot agree to is that he's a good player, really. We know that. Again, watching this World Cup, Chelsea should look at, again, getting Kudus from Ghana. Barcelona are also interested in him. I hope we look at him. And Chinedu, one day, again, Abiagam, nice to see you here. Again, if this is your first time here, please be sure to subscribe to the channel. And don't forget to drop a like on the stream. Roger, you wanted to say something, sorry.
No, not at all. I virtually agree with everything you said, but I don't know. I'm frustrated with him, and I don't think he has lived up to his price tag.
Yeah, but if we're being honest, for instance, Underground Potter, has he been treated fairly Underground Potter?
Compared to Sterling, of course not. Of course, I'm not.
Yeah, so let's just move. Let's leave it for the day. We'll talk about again player performances, then we can get into that. And believe me, it will be a delicious argument, really.
I look forward to that court session, sir.
Yeah, that starts tomorrow. we'll start that tomorrow. Watch it again. Kudus is a fine player. Hopefully the club are looking at him. And Thomas Bays, it's been a minute, brother. I hope you're doing well. He said big clubs like Pulisic still because he can do things consistently or not. That's even really good, again, players cannot. That's the thing. That's deep there. You have to understand the Christian Pulisic overall status as a player and where he's from to get that comment from Thomas Bays. Talsuboy said US media hypes him so much, but he is very inconsistent. Again, look at his stats. If this is the best Chelsea can, is this the best Chelsea can do? Again, you have every right to your argument. There are reasons why you could argue he's been inconsistent, but I get your argument anyway. And okay, Etuma says, IBZ, again, are telling me that Mason Mount will get more playing time, more playing opportunities over Pulisic if both of them are playing in another club, not Chelsea. Okay, IBZ has a messenger now, but okay, I get your argument. There are clubs that they can get to. If Pulisic goes to a club like Newcastle, he'll probably be again one of the most prominent. Feature more prominently than he does at Chelsea, because Newcastle is still up and coming.
Either. Yeah,
they don't have the depth to exactly. So, but my argument is that if he goes to big clubs like, for instance, Real Madrid or like I said, Manchester City, he won't be starting as many games as he wants. But that's a different argument for another day. The only thing he can do consistently is self-shutting.
What's that?
You guys better repent. Otherwise, you're not going to enter heaven. Really.
It's so true, though.
The number 10, go back for 30 William. Okay. Again, yeah, Coutinho was the name I was looking for. He's a very soft player, but his technical ability makes up for that lack of physical aspect of the game. Iron Ruben is not physical too. You could argue he's not, but at least he's balanced. You wouldn't say he's not physical. You could say he's mid. He's between. He's not soft. Him hitting the deck usually just to get the referee to cut the opposition player or maybe to give him a foul. He's not that you can't get the ball easily from him. So, but again, good point there to talk about him. Rogers, keep going at Pulisic, and he will be publishing another book. Yeah, I wasn't happy him publishing the book. Really, he should concentrate on playing his game.
No, you know what, though, Coach? I don't mind him publishing a book because it's a 4 year.
That is why I said I can't trust him.
Yes,
and it's
go ahead.
It's the timing. You know, he's gonna sell books because of the World Cup. You know, when you take into consideration he's a huge superstar in America in this respective sport. So I have no problem him doing that. You know, he's not, as long as he doesn't slag off Chelsea or his national team, as long as he's giving insight to being a professional footballer through his eyes, I have no problem him doing that. Let him earn as much money as he wants to. It's a capitalist society. I don't have a problem him doing that. I really don't.
Yeah,
That's all I wanted to say.
Yeah. Again, I'm gonna come to you, Ty. Your thoughts on the Pulisic, the comments you saw on the screen. If you want me to show it again, I'd show it. Well, what do you think? Ty, are you still there? Okay, Tebago, you go. I know Tebago always sounds like he works for the club. I want to get his opinion, though. Tebago, your thoughts. What do you think?
Okay, regardless of
Yeah, I'm
Pulisic,
hearing you.
if I, if,
Yeah,
if I was
Okay, go ahead.
if
Go
I,
ahead, Ty. Tebago, just Ty, let's let Tebago finish CCC and start speaking already. Go ahead, Tebago.
if I was Chelsea at the moment, and then I've been hearing rumors that he doesn't want to sign the contract, I will sell him sooner than later in order to generate money and get another attacker. That's my opinion.
You
And then
sound like you don't trust him.
if he's happy to stay, let the guy sign a contract, because the more the contract the contract is not signed, the lesser he will be valued, unless he do a miracle, start performing and then getting a consistent game time. And at the moment, you don't see that. So overall, I would say let's just sell him now and get money and buy another attacker.
Okay.
Coach, do you think
Mhm.
because he's not Coach, do you think Pulisic isn't getting that much playing time at Chelsea because of the fact that he may not be training? You know, maybe in Potter's eyes, he's not training that well. Maybe he's sulking, you know, in that regard because of lack of
No,
playing time.
I don't think that's the case. If that's the case, then he
Okay.
wouldn't even be on the bench.
No,
Because
well,
managers
that's
can
not
do
true.
that. If you're not training well enough, you don't even deserve to be on the bench. If that's really the case, and if that's the case, I think Potter by now would have said something. But you can argue nobody. I have asked him seriously, what's the situation with Christian Pulisic?
No, they haven't actually. In fact, that's quite concerning because the press don't really address quite a few issues that we want to hear.
Oh yeah, these days I don't know. I don't know what their focus is really. But I'm not going to get into that. This should go ahead
No,
with
you're
the
right.
job. Really, yeah. So it's a difficult one to try to figure out. Really, you could be right there. You could be right there, Roger. I knew he was talking about you. Let's see what next we have lined up here. Okay, it's going blank because I haven't opened it in the while. Just give me 1 second. Yeah.
But you're right,
we're not going to go into. Go ahead.
I don't think Potter has been that fair with him, based on the people that are in front of him playing. I think that he does deserve to be given more playing time. I totally agree with you in that regard. You know, as I said, I don't have an agenda. I'm looking at this objectively. You know, and the players in front of him that are playing for Chelsea as of late this season, I don't believe are passing the eye test, and I think therefore Pulisic should be given more opportunities, and he's not been given that. So I do agree. He does deserve that.
Yeah, again, you can say his lack of consistency at the club. You can injuries. We must factor that into that when we discuss that problem. We must also consider that his injury record hasn't helped, but that has improved of late. Plus, how managers you can say how, for instance, how Graham Potter is treated, and hasn't really helped. Especially, like I said, start to life on the Graham Potter hasn't been. Again, it's been awful for him, and not due to his lack of him performing, but due to, you could say, the managers, what most people has perceived as, you could say him favoring English players over him. But that's, by the way, we're not going to get into that too much. Yeah. I want us to talk about this one now. That's the next one we have. Says this is Simon Phillips, says Manchester United are knocking on the door for Chelsea Hakim Ziyech. I'm surprised they didn't take him the last transfer window, summer transfer window, because I know Ten Hag knows him very well. He had his best, you could say, played his best football under Ten Hag at Ajax. So it looks like they're interested right now. For me, I'd say let him go. Why am I saying let him go? As much as I recognize he's a fine player, he's a good player. I'm saying let him go because he just looks as if his mind isn't really at Chelsea, isn't at Chelsea anymore. He's moved on for a while now. It's
I
just
agree.
his body at Chelsea. What do you think about that, Roger?
Yeah, his body language as of late. He had that one stinker of a game. Was it against Palace or somewhere where it looked like he was just like throwing a tantrum on the field? You know, he's emotional player, and I respect that, but he has been for the most part shockingly poor, and he's a very technical and talented individual. There is no doubt about that. I think to say
And
otherwise would be
currently he's the best passer of the ball we have in that squad.
yeah. So to say otherwise would be foolish. I mean, you have to be objective here. He's a very talented player, but I think he's not physical enough for in my opinion. He's muscled off the ball consistently, and B, he doesn't track back enough. There are occasions when he does, but those are few and far between. And
In terms of tracking back is an aspect of his game really that he's improved upon.
Yes, yeah, as
even
of
before
yes.
Thomas Tuchel dropped into the bench. But go ahead.
Yeah, you're right. But what does that show you? That the fact that you can tell that he goes through stages of doing that tells you that he doesn't do it like Mount does each and every game. That's my point. So I think there's an application or a desire for application, and he's a very emotional player. I think he should move on, and I wish him the best. I really like him, because in his locker he has, or I'll give you a golfing analogy. He has every club in the bag. He has every shot in the bag. He's a very good player, and I actually thought he would work out for us. I really did. I'm sad.
Are you for the club selling him to Manchester United?
Any club right now. I don't think if he goes to Man United, I don't think he's going to hurt us. I have no problem selling him to Man United, none whatsoever. Maybe that will come back and bite me in the gluteus maximus, but yeah, I don't mind selling him at all. I think he should go this window. I really do.
Yeah,
but again, Roger,
not down because he's not to the reason that he's a bad player, but because he's left in spirit. Go ahead.
He has. You're right.
Tebago.
Yeah, I agree with Roger. Same as Pulisic. If Chelsea doesn't have the alternatives to replace either Pulisic or Ziyech, unfortunately, you don't have to sell them, because if you sell them and they don't have alternative to replace them, it means like we're shortening our squad, and then that is not Chelsea. If, for example, Sterling or Kai Havertz or whoever our friend or two of our players get injured, what will we do? So at the moment, I will let them go now in January if we have alternatives. If not, I'm sorry, we have to keep them until summer, because at least this summer we have more time to search for a replacement for them. So I hopefully Chelsea have a plan now. But again, with Ziyech, as we said before, like we have different choices. Is either we sell him to Manchester United, we've been linked to AC Milan, and we want some of their players. Also at Ajax, we've been linked with Edson Alvarez. We can do sort of what Todd wanted to do, sort of a trade, getting a small fee, trading a player. That will work for us. But overall,
factoring him into our pursuit of Leao.
Yeah. Hopefully,
yes, or even we've been relinked with this other player, Benkenko or who? I'm not sure his name.
Yeah.
Yes. And then his contract is ending. It's in summer, and it's not gonna renew it. So it's a win-win situation for us. If we give them Ziyech, they give us that player, because we lack midfielders at the moment, energy. That can be a win-win situation for us. But at the moment, as I said before, we'd rather sell them if. Yes.
Tebago, sorry for cutting in. I don't want Pulisic to go this window. I want him to stay to the end of the season. I want him to stay to the end of the season. And if if he's not given a good amount of run of time playing, then then that's unfair. But if he is, and then he doesn't succeed, then he has to move on. But however, conversely, if he is given a good amount of run of games consistently, and he does produce, which we have seen him do before, then we should keep him, assuming he stays healthy. Also,
Consistency is the key word there. But
You-
my
you-
fear is
you
that
know
the
the-
club
Yes,
will be
indeed.
looking as long as he's able to produce good performances here and then. The club wouldn't actually mind that. Like we've talked about this 1,000 times. He's more than just a
And
player
then
for Chelsea Football Club. But go ahead.
Coach, coach, and the issue at the moment, and we see this every time. And then Chelsea fans, we want this. At least play back four system so that we can add one attacking players. For example, Sterling can play either left or right wing, so that if he plays on a right wing, Ziyech will get a place on a left wing. So at the moment, if you're going to keep playing with a 3-back system or another formation that won't help Pulisic, we rather sell the kid. But at the moment, as I said, we don't have to let him go until we get a replacement. But overall, guys, if I was grandfather at the moment, I'll be drilling these players for back four system. We need to move on from back three system. And I know sometimes systems doesn't exist or something like that. But again, if I keep on playing this system, that means we can buy a lot of our attacking players because they won't get enough game time.
Yeah, unfortunately, Graham Potter is a 3 at the back structure man. That's the formation, the structure he uses predominantly, no matter the application. But he mixes it up. But predominantly, he plays 3 at the back. If you go back and look at his Brighton team, they did that quite a lot. Again, if you're watching, if you haven't, take a second to drop a like on the stream and subscribe to the channel. If you haven't, let me catch up on the chat. So come back to the panel so we can talk about all the things we have. You could be right. Again, again, either our club values the players or not. Again, we seem to leave them hanging because our owners cannot do their job. You could argue that's been a problem sometimes because the owners, maybe we don't have the right. We again in the past we didn't have the right structure to pay attention to these things. To recognize how problematic it will be to leave a player leave leave discussing a new contract with players who are running out of contract. Leave it until late when the players who see that leaving the club they get to earn more money and all that. It's going to be problematic and all that. Again, maybe lack of proper structure in place has always been the issue, but that changes. I hope that changes. That's me. Selling Mount could be a great team. A great thing for the club that allows us to fix the squad balance. If that's how you feel, again, I get your argument there. I think Nkunku is the replacement for Ziyech or Pulisic. To be honest, I don't think he will end up playing as a striker. I don't think so either. And again, it's important to highlight this comment because we get to talking about Nkunku soon. Let's see what we have here again. Plus, if we get Leao, then that again, both of them replace, in my opinion. It makes sense now because I've been asking the question: if we're trying to get Leao and Nkunku, it doesn't make sense. I think we're overloading with 2 players who'll be demanding this that day in day out, and then becomes a problem of much again in the same of much as I like to have again not backups, but again at least 2 starting players in each position. I think that would be problematic. Again, I don't know how to explain myself here.
No, that's depth.
But
that's depth, coach.
That's still depth, yeah. But again, there's a way you have it. It will become a big problem, really. It depends.
Listen, I don't rate Sterling. Look at the depth. I want you to name our depth. Who do we have? Ziyech.
Not really. We have a bloated squad but we don't have balance, really.
Yeah, and quality, in my opinion. For the most part, Sterling, I don't think I personally don't believe he will succeed at Chelsea. I think in the next 2 to 3 years, we will look back and say he has not been a success. I
hope
don't
that's not the case.
No, I
Right.
agree. I don't want that to be the case either. I want him to succeed. I really do. I'm a Chelsea fan first and foremost. I do not have an agenda, but I didn't want him coming here because I don't rate him. I'm just being honest with you. It's
No, I
because
know.
of
I totally understand.
because of what I've spoken about previously. You know, the good thing about him is, though, he's a wonderful person. He is so mature for his age, and I believe he's got a great personality, and I believe he brings so many positive attributes in the locker room, which you cannot overstate. It's so important that you have that in a team, in a squad, that you don't have a bunch of egotistical, immature morons, that you have mature, considerate team players that are not egotistical and are for the team and are sensible and likable, etc. This chemistry, it matters, coach, in a squad. It matters so much. I cannot stress this enough. And he is a very positive attribute to the team. So I value him in that regard. I value the good things that he does bring on the pitch also. However, his deficiencies, I believe, overweigh his positives on the field. I'm just being honest with you, you know. I hope that he corrects this, coach, but I believe we don't have, when I call depth, I'm talking about quality of depth, you know. Who else is there? You know, Pulisic is in
totally
on form,
understand.
Sterling, Ziyech. I think if we do get Leao and Nkunku, even though I have reservations about another German Bundesliga player coming, because I think that league is very different to the Premier League.
We will get to Nkunku in a bit. Let me catch up with the chat here. Again, let's say, plus if we get Leao, then again, that's both of them. But two of the players, Leao and Nkunku, both play predominantly on the left-hand side. So you wouldn't, on the left-hand side. So you wouldn't argue that both any of them replaces Hakim Ziyech in terms of, again, because Hakim plays predominantly on the right and hardly plays on the left at all, actually. But that's by the way.
I think Nkunku could play on the right though, or even
he is capable of doing that. But we don't want any other situation of any player again feeling like he's playing out of position. Let's move on from that. It'd be a shame to see Pulisic leave, but cannot blame him. Never given a fair shot. That's just my argument. I even wanted him to leave under Thomas Tuchel, not because he's a bad player, because Thomas Tuchel clearly didn't trust him, and they have a history. If you follow them from Dortmund, you could argue he doesn't see him as a starter. But again,
so why is this, Coach? Why is this that basically he's played under 3 coaches for Chelsea, you know, and
has only played consistently if left
under Frank.
If under Frank, that's just a thing I don't know. But I'm not going to try to go. Maybe it's something that comes up. Again, his case just remind me, but he's different because he's a fine footballer, really. The case of Mr. Batshuayi, where even though he, on his day, can put away chances, and then at the time, we started paying attention. Why has that always? He has found it difficult to cement a place under any managers that he's played under, even though he was.
He's so inconsistent.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm not sure but when I'm not gonna come here and put something out of my wazoo and say that has always been the issue. But it becomes you start seeing the pattern. Then you say, okay, there's really something there. He's not renewing his contract, which means to me that's a sign that he's bent on. He wants to leave. So him saying that he's happy at Chelsea doesn't really mean anything. I get feeling Leao would be a great fit for this club. The problem is we're not the only ones looking at him right now. Man City want him, and Leao also says he will talk to AC Milan. Did he say after the season or so, after the World Cup? I'm not sure, but again, it's not going to be easy. We're also looking at Enzo Fernandez at the World Cup. That's a good, again, I think I will research him to know, again, how truthful that is. So we'll talk about him. Paul, management really has let a lot of our attackers down. You could say that too. Seth Pulisic and Fofana, it sounds easy, really. Especially Fofana. The club ain't going to sell him. And even if, let's say, for instance, Fofana he's a good player. We signed him because he's young, and again, you can say, let me just be clear here. Even if you decide to sell him, how much are you going to sell him for right now, really? But I don't think the club will even consider selling him right now. You really think we'll sell Fofana after paying over 80 million for him? Yeah, again, ask him that question. When Fofana is fit, Trev is holding bench. No, I think they're going to be rotating. And those two players, they differ. You can argue even that I'm not sure at this point, because I've seen some improvements, significant improvements from again the way Trevor Chalobah applies himself in that defense. You can say in just a short span, in just about a month or so, 2 months or so, he's grown into a leader. Actually, he's looked more comfortable on the ball. He's looked more. He's looked like he's become all of a sudden become and even. You can say he's robbing off his style of play from Thiago Silva. So I used to argue that maybe Fofana is a better again in the aspect of carrying the ball, but I think he has that too. I think both of them will be they both integral to Chelsea's again whatever we'll achieve in the near future.
Coach.
Yeah, they are future, and both are good players and can rotate really, and both can actually start together. Thiago Silva is in 13. Go ahead, Tebago. You wanted to say something.
I agree, and then like Coach, as you said, like we didn't wish Wesley Fofana to get injured, but again, I'm glad Trevor Chalobah finally got his chance for a long run of play, so that we can see him clearly. Because under Thomas Tuchel, from the first goal, we thought he would get a run of games, so that he can do well, he can improve from his mistakes. So Arna Grandpa now has been consistent. Unfortunately, due to those few losses from before the World Cup, people will have different opinions, because I think Trevor Chalobah this season has been one of our best players, because he have improved a lot. And I feel like Thiago Silva is a good role model for our defenders. Hopefully, Wesley Fofana,
Koulibaly, good role models for them.
Exactly. So I hope Trevor Chalobah, Wesley Fofana, they can learn from those two warriors. Even look at Koulibaly now, the World Cup. He's a warrior. Oh man.
Oh yeah, I think Koulibaly. I'm not concerned really about his Chelsea career.
No, I'm not either.
Oh no, I know he'll become even better, and I know at the time where people were judging him, I saw all the reasons as to why he underperformed, because the defensive, department of a team is the most difficult to assemble. Change one player, and every other player there will underperform. And we had two changes there, and still he did as well as he did. But unfortunately, most people start saying he hasn't adapted very well to the Premier League. But I don't want to go into that, because I think Roger was one of those people, really. But that's by the way.
But hold on, Coach. I have to say something. I've wanted him for 5 or 6 years to come to Chelsea, because he is one of the elite.
And we wanted him then, but it was too expensive.
Yeah, elite defenders in the world. There is no doubt about it, especially in Europe, playing in Europe. I rate him so highly, but thus far, I don't believe he is maybe assimilated as well as I thought he would. However, I have no qualms or worries that he will live up to his reputation, none whatsoever, because he shows flashes of it. You know, listen, he's just moved country, he's moved his whole family. It's an adjustment period on and off the field. I'm not thinking, oh my God, I think he's going to be a bust. No, not at all. I am confident that he will excel and exceed my expectations. Probably. I wasn't putting him down negatively. I was just basically stating that thus far this is what he's done in an objective fashion. I rate him highly and respect him immensely.
Yeah, thank you very much again. If you're watching, if you haven't, take a second, drop a like on the stream and subscribe to the channel. If you haven't, we've gained a few subscribers today, even though we haven't streamed for a while. So thank you so much for that. Please, again, my brother from another mother, Liam Lane, says, please like and subscribe when you enter if you have not, as it helps the channel grow and reach a wider audience. Thank you so much. Oh, my bad. Again, I thought Nkunku was the right wing center forward. He could play as a forward too, as a hybrid number 9. But again, I don't think it makes sense to play him as a hybrid number 9 because this guy is a playmaker, really. He's not just a winger. He's a playmaker, really. He can create.
He could play as a number 10.
Yeah, he can play as a number 10 too, and he's that good.
In a 4-2-3-1, he could play behind the striker. He really could. I think it would suit him really well, actually.
Yeah,
you know?
And then again, and God of Frogs, again, by the way, Wally Waldo, I hope you're doing well. And God of Frogs, I haven't seen you in a while. I hope you're doing well. He can play as 10 or a center forward, but I wouldn't play him as center forward. That would be wasting his talent. It depends on the application, though, I have to be honest. We need, again, to not treat him like a striker. Otherwise, fans will have a go at
It's true.
No, so that's a good observation. We don't want to risk a situation where we deploy him where we won't see the best of him, and then again some fans will start having a go at him, really. So that makes sense. Chalo has improved quite a lot, and the truth remains, even as most Chelsea fans, some fear he'd leave, some argue, then again some wanted the club to sell him because a few mistakes, which I argue then is very common with players
that
at
young.
his range. So again, but he seemed to actually to be shedding those sort of mistakes even quicker than most people thought he would, and even his biggest critics have turned into his biggest fans. Again, I prefer Enzo to Bellingham. Again, I am not that hyped about Bellingham as much as I know if we sign him, he's gonna again serve us for a long term. But I don't know about paying 100 million plus for him. Plus, if anything, I think the club learned anything, they should go and rewatch the United States versus England. But that's not saying Bellingham is a good player. That again, maybe the whole thing might have come down to the application or how deep he played, or how the manager wants the game again. Wanted to approach the game that day. Adams outplayed a combo of Rice and Bellingham. Let that sink in. But again, that's just one game, a single game. But Bellingham is a good player.
Coach, Bellingham wasn't in a double pivot then. They were basically playing a 4-1-4-1. So, do you understand?
Yeah. So maybe that's
the
not the case. Maybe
it's the application, Coach. It's the application.
Yeah, the application. Yeah.
I rate. You know what? I'm actually shocked each and every time I watch him. He seems to be improving in front of my eyes.
The kid is good, but I'm just saying for 100 million plus, I wouldn't do that really. At this age,
who is worth 100 million?
Here's the thing. Here's what I'm fearful of. Again, paying that much money for a young player, you could say you could end up again. You could say piling up an unnecessary pressure on him.
Yeah, that's a good point. Because
that's where the danger lies, really.
Have you seen him being interviewed at all?
He sounds mature. Again, is that what you want to talk about?
Yeah, he's mature beyond his years, and you have to actually give credit to his parents. His parents have raised him so well.
He said fetus.
At the age of 16, he decided.
Just use your language.
He's an embryo, a fetus. You're right. He at the age of 16, he decided and sat down with his parents and basically decided comprehensively that it's a good move to move overseas when currently this is not the norm for any English player to do so. Or British player,
it's been like that for a while, and I don't think it changes anytime soon.
He's a gifted, but also I'll be honest with you, Coach, when I was 19, I wasn't that mature. I was, you know what? Listen, he's a captain at 19 in a German Bundesliga team, one of 3 captains. I mean, and then he lets his play do the talking on the pitch. I think, listen, all this 100 million, 200 million, This is monopoly money. It's obscene. But if you're going to pay a lot of money for someone, I think he's worth the risk. I think he's that good, coach. I really do.
Yeah, quickly, let me catch up on the chart again. Let's go for Jude, Rice, and Casado. I don't think that's too much. Again, maybe Jude, Jude, Rice, and Casado. You could say nearly 3 December type of players, and all of them, none of them comes for cheap. Jude is a different player. He's not a defensive midfielder. But Rice and Casado paying that much, spending that much money to get them, but it doesn't make a business sense. Hello, Kimso, nice to see you. It's been a minute, brother. I hope you're doing well. Long time no see, yes, indeed. But I'm back stronger. And again, we will be rolling for a while, except if I decide to take a break. Tyler Adams is class. I want him again. Yes, again. The question is, will the club be looking at him? He's a fine player. He's got the energy. If we're talking about finding any player that will do us much more as N'Golo Kante can do for us and still be effective in terms of breaking up opposition play, reading the game quite well, I think he's the guy, really.
And he's young.
He's young. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's really young. Daichi again and Kamada also I want. Yeah. So we've seen a lot of good players, and we've all become scouts for Chelsea Football Club too. But again, Adams, I really do want him. Congrats to all the US fans. I was scared when we played you guys. Again, good players. Really, that team is really good. Except that again, the final product is where I'm really concerned, which is very common with a very young side. Sometimes too much in a hurry to make decisions and end up making a mistake. But that will come with time. Same issue with Canada and all that. Sell Mason Mount again, a creator that cannot create. There you go. Kimso comes again. The panic bus driver. Well, I hope you've dropped the key. Being that mature for 19 years old is insane. Yeah, sometimes, again, it all comes down to upbringing. It all comes down to the environment where the kid grows up. Because you can, how do I phrase it? What's the correct way to phrase it? The way, again, a person behaves usually, again, is defined by where the environment where they grow up or people they mingle with or something like that.
Yeah, he's a product of his environment.
Again, he's a product of his environment. And that also says quite a lot of his upbringing.
Very much so.
Really.
The way he speaks,
but that's good to see. Let's see.
He's articulate. He's articulate, well-spoken. He's cerebral. He's mature beyond his years. Yeah, he's impressive.
Yeah, that's lovely to see, really. Again, if you're watching, if you haven't taken a second to drop a like on the video, surprisingly, we're at 39 likes today, and that's just brilliant. Thank you so much for that, guy. People that encourages us to continue with the Blue Money Show tomorrow. Good day, again. It's been a while, and again, same to you, the Prince. I hope you're doing well. Nkunku is a very good player, no doubt. Yeah, again about that. But the main issue, I think, again, is to know about a Chelsea present DM. The team needs stability. We must, again, invest to solve the problem. Here's the thing. My issue is this. I don't think Graham Potter plays with the DM, and he's proven that time and time again. I hope he changes his mind. Again, not every manager does, but let's see what happens. We have to play a 4-3-3 formation, and I think at the back, again, it's good. So, again, if we have Rice, Casado, and Jude at the midfield, and also Nkunku at the front, we will be okay. Moffat Muwamba says, that's a good suggestion there, but Graham Potter plays predominantly with a 3 at the back formation. And let's see what happens, again, when we have the likes of Fofana fit and Reece James fit. And again, we have, I heard also that Lewis Hall has been promoted to the first team. So again, when we have Ben Chilwell fit, let's see what he does. We have it's hard to tell. Like Roger would say, he's predictably unpredictable. I want Kamada too. He's been excellent for Frankfurt and Japan. And again, we don't have. I haven't seen at Tennytime. I haven't seen any Japanese or Korean player. Even if we're talking about business, it's good. They have good players and they're all hard working. The industry is exceptional. I remember that they had that player they had at Manchester United. He was a fine player plus his energy. And look at Heung-min Son. Look at also Suzuki. What's his name? That played for Inter Milan and all that.
I love Son, coach. I love Son.
Yeah, very, very technically gifted player, and the energy they bring to the team is something exceptional. I'm surprised Chelsea haven't had any player from those countries. Really, I don't know what's going on. Let's say again, Cody Gakpo also. But again, I'm not going to jump into the Cody Gakpo bus. I need to see him even more. I know he's done quite well at the World Cup.
Yeah.
But I get your argument. This is that period that we'll all become scouts. I'm one too, and Kimso especially is a scout for Chelsea all the time. Trust him, so to speak. Let's see what else we have here. Chelsea have scheduled a meeting after the World Cup to try and close a deal for Josko Gvardiol as soon as possible. Graham Potter considers him the perfect player in a 3-man defense, and the Croatian is ready to leave RB Leipzig. But here's the problem here.
How old is he?
Here's the problem here. I think it's 21. It's the same age as the guy on loan at Brighton. Yeah.
Wow, that's
I think he's 21. Yeah. But Croatians, they're fine players too. Technically gifted and
very
also fight.
technical,
You see, and you see the fight in them. So here's where the problem lies here. Chelsea target Josko Gvardiol. From a young age, I watched Liverpool games with my dad, and I grew up with just them. Again, when I took football more seriously, I started following them, and I definitely want the Premier League and Liverpool move one day. So,
but it's normal.
Yeah, and this is a
it's
problem.
Normal.
Really. Given that, go ahead.
No. Remember, Sancho is a Chelsea fan, but he went to Manchester United. So doesn't mean if you're a fan of a club, you can't go to another club. Remember, he said it's business. So if Liverpool is not linked to Liverpool and Chelsea want him, he'll go to Chelsea. But let's see your opinion. Let me hear it.
Sure, but it can be a factor, though. It can be.
Yeah, go ahead, Roger. It can be a serious factor.
Yeah, it can be. Like for instance, let's say hypothetically, I'm 19 to 22. I'm young and I've got really good potential, and I have a choice of going to Man U, Liverpool, or Chelsea. But I'm a Chelsea fan. I'm going to Chelsea. If the contracts are virtually identical and the teams are virtually identical, you know, same thing. If I was a Liverpool fan and I had the opportunity to choose between Chelsea and Liverpool and there were identical circumstances, I would probably, it's a deciding factor, potentially. Not always. In some young players, if they're very mature, that may not be the case. But I think it is subconsciously and consciously a factor.
But again,
here are the clubs
is he
that
linked
want
to
him.
Liverpool?
Liverpool wants him, and Manchester City wants him too.
Who are we talking about?
Okay, if Liverpool wants him.
Yeah.
At the moment, I don't care about Liverpool. I just want him at Chelsea.
What's the price?
Let's be honest. Do we really need him? Do we really need Gvardiol, really? If we're talking about bringing back Levi Colwill, because they play in the same position, it's the left centre-back position that we're talking about, really. If we value the youth, if we're talking about bringing back Levi Colwill, why pay that much money? I don't know. I'm not sure how much. But what we heard was 80 million pounds plus. And they rejected around 75 million pounds from Man City during the transfer, during the summer transfer window. So it doesn't make business sense. It doesn't make any sort of sense to me. And it doesn't look like, to me, it's going to work, given the fact that Fabrizio Romano during the summer reported that he's going to join Chelsea. Chelsea will end up signing him, but he will only join in June of 2023. So it's everywhere, really. But go ahead, Tebago, you were saying something.
Yeah, at the moment it's everywhere. But again, I don't think at the moment at Chelsea we have a left centre back, and then in a centre back role we need balance. A player using a left footed, we need him playing a left centre back. Rather than, for example, we almost Koulibaly plays there. Even Thiago Silva can play there. So at the moment, I just want balance. And then you're right. unless we give Liverpool a chance to play there. That's why I didn't want him to leave, so that he can learn that role at Chelsea during, for example, other players were resting. He can play there so that he can integrate very well there. But at the moment, he went to Brighton with a loan, and then it's not looking good. But a few games he was playing. Hopefully, he can get a consistent game of time, and we can see him. But again, I've been watching Josko Gvardiol in the World Cup, and he's been impressive. That's why I want him at Chelsea. But again, as I said, he's a Liverpool fan. It's a bit tricky. Let's see in the summer.
Yeah, it makes it tricky. It makes it tricky. Go ahead. You were saying something.
Yes, and let's see in the summer if Liverpool are still want him. If they still want him, I'll prefer him to go to Liverpool. If they don't want him, I'll prefer him to come to Chelsea. Because at the end of the day, we can ask a lot of players which team they're supporting. They will tell you different things, but they're playing for different clubs. So it's business, and I like this kid.
Yeah, I like him, but again, we have a situation. Graham Potter likes to play, what's his name, Cucurella, and we'll talk about the comment again. Some suspicious comment from the interview he had of late. Likes to play him in the left centre back position. Gvardiol is a left centre back position, although versatile enough to also play in the right and on the right hand side. Then if if we sign him, what does the future hold for Levi Colwill? Because they're both the same age, and what message are you sending to him? So it just doesn't really make sense. Because I'd say that position isn't really an issue for us, really. If we're going to talk about switching to playing with a 4 at the back structure, where you can have Koulibaly and Silva centrally, or either of the two paired with Fofana or Chalobah, or again, I don't think it makes sense, really. And if we're going to a situation whereby there's a chance we'll play with just fullbacks, like a left back, it doesn't make sense to still get them. It would be a waste of money, really. We have other areas where we should focus on find a solution. It's not a priority, yeah, exactly. It's more like saying it's good to have because he's a fine player, we might as well just get him, which has always cost us a lot of problems in the past, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Say again, Wally Waldo says again, Gilson Park played for that was the name I was looking for. He was such a fine player for them. Energy, technically gifted. Again, an exemplary professional too, because they take their job seriously. That's one thing that's very common with people from that part of the world. Yes. Exactly, coach. Again, tell them no Japanese player ever played at Chelsea. Yeah, not. I'm surprised even because to me it's business. If we're really talking about that, he's 20. Again, Defenders FC. How many clubs? Again, that's just a good one. There, we shouldn't. I don't think the club should prioritize signing Gvardiol. But again, it's a Chelsea thing. No matter, as long as a player is doing well, we always talk about that player. And to me, that sounds like the Liverpool camp they've already reached out to the Gvardiol camp, and he's interested really, because I don't know Vince to come out with some nonsense like that.
I think the reason why we are pushing for Gvardiol is just we are getting Christopher Nkunku, who was a former Leipzig technical director. So obviously he's been seeing this kid playing, or maybe he had a background check about this player. He wants him at Chelsea. We'll never know. So,
but shouldn't we prioritize in the midfield area?
Yeah, I want that also. We need to prioritize the midfielder and then give Levi Colwill a chance.
Wow. Just quickly, I'm going to jump to again, we're going to be rounding up soon because I didn't want this to go this long, but I understand again, it says Gvardiol should go to Liverpool. Don't want Liverpool fans at my club. Yeah, it just doesn't make any sense. If he really said this, then we should stop looking at him, because we didn't start talking with this camp today. Tebago, you get my point. So if after he's well aware that we're looking to sign him and he comes up with such statement, we should stop looking at him straight away. Otherwise, we'll find ourselves.
When did he say that statement?
There's no way to confirm this. I'm saying that's why I said if he really said this after, again, I'm sure you can all the talks that we're trying to get him, and he's aware of that, and still says this, That's a chance that the Liverpool camp have reached out to his camp, and he may well again. We may all find ourselves in a situation trying to sign a player who wants to join some other club, and it just doesn't make any sort of sense. Colwell was impatient. I don't think it was up to him. I think the club decided to let him leave on loan and probably doing Brighton a favor because we wanted Cucurella. It's as simple as that. Again, we should snatch up all these talented young again World Cup players that stand out that we can add to the first team on the cheap in the future. I think the club they're signing a lot of young players, which to me means they're planning for the future, and we'll be spending too much money in the transfer market in the coming future. Go ahead, Tebago. You wanted to say something?
It seems like the player was telling about Benacer from AC Milan. Chelsea wants him because I've just seen a report from someone Phillips that Mino Raiola's brother, who's taking over from his players because he passed away recently. So he's going to schedule a meeting with Chelsea in January for Benacer. That means we want him. And then, as I said, if we are going to trade Ziyech, we need to make use of it. If you want a midfielder, is a fine midfielder. He's still 24 years old. He has a lot of room to improvement, and I like him. Also, have a good energy. So we'll wait and see in January what will happen.
Yeah. But here again, I fixed the midfield. That's a very, very delicious point there from Kim. So that we need to prioritize that. We shouldn't be everywhere, but let's see what the club does. We have our structure in place now. This should help prioritize the club's priorities again in the transfer market, not just to sign players for the sake of it. If we let Levi go again, I pray he wouldn't be a Salah or KDB scenario all over again. No, if we let him go, I wish him well. I want him to end up becoming one of the best players in the world. I'm not that selfish, but I guess how you feel about that. If he chooses Liverpool over Chelsea, we should not even, waste our time on him. We need a player that really wants to play for our badge and passionate players and fighter. Again, that's just the truth. And that is my brother, Declare, saying again, a big up everyone. I was actually enjoying a Chelsea break. Yeah. And now we're bringing trouble, right? But that's, by the way, again, we are, again, I enjoy a Chelsea break too. Let me see what else we have here to address. Again, I want us to round off as soon as possible. I have other things that I have to take care of. Let's see this one here. We've looked at it. Now, we've talked about Nkunku partially, but I think Nkunku fits, on, you could say on the left-hand side. And no need going into the question who makes way. We're not sure who the club will decide to let go because the truth is, I think there's a chance the club, I'm not sure if that's going to be the case because we're not that loaded in that area. I think he comes in. I'm not going to get into the conversation of who makes way, really, because it wouldn't make any sort of sense. What do you think, Tebago?
Yeah, I agree with you because Chelsea is a big club. We need to have many technical players. We need to have many attackers to challenge for every trophy. So we can say he can make way of another player, and then we repeated the same mistakes we did recently. Sell a player, replace him. Why don't we add a player to what we have so that they can have a competition? So at the moment, I just want Chelsea to be successful, have two quality players on the same position.
Yeah, we should. We need squad depth. We need squad depth, really. But that's, by the way, I want us to move on in a bit. Let's see what we have here. I says again, good morning, everyone. I missed the show, Chama, Joseph, how Dallin. I hope you're doing well. Thank you so much for finding the show, finding the time to join the show. I know it's a working day, so you're probably at work. Roger is not available at this point, but that's, by the way, it says, hello, Kachila, how are you? I'm doing well. Thank you so much for asking. I hope you're doing well, too. Let me ask you this, Tebago. Can we really say we've signed Nkunku? Because Fabrizio Romano's comment didn't say, again, he hasn't put pen to papers yet.
Yeah, he said He's waiting for the paperwork to be signed, and then soon he had to go. So he's just on a question mode. But at the same time, I feel like Christopher Nkunku to Chelsea is done unless Chelsea are dumb to let go of this deal, drag on, and then we let him go to another team in the last minute. So I feel like Christopher Nkunku is done to Chelsea. We need to prioritize another targets. Hopefully, I pray in January, we need a midfielder. We need energy there. But we'll wait and see what is the plan of the grandfather and his team, what they are thinking about our squad recently. Hopefully, during the World Cup, before they start training yesterday, they had meetings. They've been watching our games. What went wrong? The time we were doing well. What went right? What we need to fix in order to progress. But because last few games under Grandpa, we've been very extremely poor, and that is not acceptable at Chelsea. Hopefully, we can get things right, and then we move on from being angry, fighting amongst each other, having different opinions and stuff. This is Chelsea. We need to win every game. But again, it's not that simple. Hopefully, can step it up and change things. And then one more thing we've been crying about as Chelsea fans. He needs to stop being soft on those players. He needs to step it up. If a player is doing bad, he needs to tell that player that you're not doing well. You need to improve. For example, if you watch Saudi Arabia coach, he's so aggressive. That guy, I like the way he's so aggressive because he's straightforward. He doesn't listen to players what to do. He just tell them instructions. If he can't run, then I'll bench you. That's what we need at Chelsea. So hopefully, Lampard have a balls to do that.
All right, so thank you very much for that. I appreciate you, Roger. Let me ask you this, Roger. I don't know if you're there.
I am, sir.
Okay. The question that I wanted to ask is this: regarding again signing Nkunku, and we're hearing the club are interested in signing. What's his name? Rafael Leao. Can you make signing, assuming nobody leaves, can you make signing those two players? Can you make it make sense? How is it going to work?
I think we need them.
Both. How are we going to make it work? Both, assuming nobody leaves, really.
Sorry, I was sneezing. I actually
bless you.
think, Coach, that there's a strong possibility Ziyech leaves this window, if not definitely in the summertime. I
and we're talking, but we remember we're talking about two players who plays predominantly on the left-hand side.
Yes, no, I agree.
Although Nkunku is capable of playing on the right-hand side, same as Rafael Leao. But if we're talking about, but go ahead. You talking about in terms of making space to accommodate the new players. Is that what you were saying?
Yeah, first of all, we're going to be depleted somewhat. There's a possibility that even Pulisic may go, in addition to Ziyech. You know, let's say hypothetically Pulisic stays. We do need depth. If you want to subscribe to the theory that Chelsea will be elevated again to be a top 4 team and a powerful team for years to come, yes, we need to address the midfield. But in the forwards, you need depth. Because so far, let's be honest, I could be saying this prematurely, but Sterling has not been the answer thus far, based on what we have seen. I think we can safely assume and agree on that. Therefore, if he is not successful to a level with which we believe is acceptable, then Leao and Nkunku will provide that, I believe, based on the eye test that I've seen each and every time I've watched them. Leao, I think, is going to be a huge hit wherever he goes. His physical ability, his speed, he's so clinical. I just can't see him being a flop. I don't know his personality that well, so I don't know. But I think he will succeed. I think he will succeed very well in the Chelsea outfit. And Nkunku, please don't take this the wrong way. I'm just really buyer beware. I have concerns about a German player,
But I want you to really take your time to weigh his abilities, his overall abilities against concerns about him performing in the Premier League.
Yeah, because of Werner, I'm once bitten, twice shy, as they say. Werner, don't mistake me. I value Werner. I wish he had.
What do you think? Okay, Rich, if you want to talk about that, what do you think was Werner's biggest problem in the Premier League? Most pronounced issue.
His finishing, his first.
No, I know. I don't think the finishing was the issue. The finishing issue. Yeah, the finishing issue. Let me just explain why I say that.
You ask me a question, then you don't let me answer. Coach.
No, but okay, go ahead. Okay,
I say this respectfully because in that time when he was playing for Chelsea, I saw the biggest miss I've ever seen him play when he was playing for his national team, Germany. He was literally about 2 yards out and he missed it. Have you seen that attempt where he missed it? I think we talked about it once. Listen, I respect players go in and out of form. That's no problem. I think he lost his confidence. I'm talking about Werner. And his first touch, also his dribbling. I actually don't perceive his dribbling to be that much of an issue, but I'm just buyer beware. I honestly think because of the fact, how many goals did he score? That's what I wanted to ask you. He wasn't a prolific goal scorer for us. And that was, yes, I know he wasn't bought in to be a number 9. I know he was bought in to be a winger. I get
probably worse.
Yeah. So I agree with you in that instance, but I honestly believe that, he excels playing in a league that there is space behind in the channel where he can utilize his speed.
We're saying the same thing now. That was exactly what I wanted to say.
Yes,
Werner's biggest issue in the Premier League is that Werner operates with space.
Yes,
lots
he
of
does.
space.
And I
1v1,
that.
Werner would practically say, "Please take the ball and leave me alone." That's me explaining. That's me explaining how bad he is in terms of beating his man. And in the Premier League, space is scarce, really.
Right.
You only find spaces when you're playing against teams
because
that
they
feel like they can beat you.
Yeah, because they play the low block. Yes, I get it.
And Chelsea will always face low block teams because they're one of the biggest teams in the league. So how other teams deal with playing with the big name clubs in the league is to defend deep.
I say 75% of the time we're going to play low block teams. I agree with you. I'm not
exactly. So that's Werner's biggest problem. In terms of the finishing aspect, it was down to a confidence problem.
Yeah,
he lost confidence.
Poor. Big time.
Yeah.
But then the attributes that we're talking about Werner, which we're not arguing about that. We actually agree. But then you can apply that same logic to Sterling. Because I see the same symptoms being applied with Sterling. He loses the ball. Look at his dribbling. I have a spreadsheet on it. It's 20%. 1 out of every 5 dribbles. For every 5 dribbles he attempts, he succeeds only once. It's very poor.
Yeah, believe me, I think Nkunku will work for 2 reasons.
So Nkunku, you asked me why do I think he work? Well, he's better with the ball dribbling. He's definitely,
and that makes a whole lot of difference.
Yeah.
And I don't think Werner's the biggest. You could say the biggest contributor maybe to Werner's issue at Chelsea wasn't his misses. No, those misses were down. He lacked form then.
Yeah.
He lacked form, but his biggest issue is that he operates with space.
Yes, he does. Yes, and that's why he excels in the Bundesliga. And Nkunku, I think, is far more clinical than Werner and Sterling. From what I've seen, he's also very pacey. He's got speed like Werner and Sterling.
I think they have pace and finishing ability. Again,
and his first touch,
go ahead.
He's technical. His first touch is sublime, and I think his spatial awareness is better than Werner. He operates very well in confined areas. I like him. I think, honestly, but I think he will succeed at Chelsea given the opportunity. But I'm going to be honest with you. I thought the same thing about Werner also.
No,
That's
I
all I'm
didn't
saying.
really. I didn't.
Okay,
I knew
that's fair.
Bernard
That's
again
fair.
operates in space. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. I actually thought, maybe naive of me. Yes, I agree. You know, I don't have a problem admitting when I'm wrong, but I thought he was going to be the answer to Eden Hazard going. I thought he was going to be a really good player.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, no, I listen. Oh my god, maybe I shouldn't have said that out loud. But I'm being honest with you, Coach. Coach OP, you're killing me. You're killing
Let
me.
me catch up with the time. I want to get to Wagner's opinion. Then we'll talk about Leao and call it a day. Really.
Did I just
Choma
lose
here
credibility there, Coach?
yeah. Choma here says, yeah, no, I was again. I'm not working. I'm recovering from that. Ooh. Oh, yeah. Sorry to hear that. Again, little ones and what they bring from school can be. And it's more, again, yeah, I've been there. And it's sorry to hear that, Sharma. I'll be praying for you for a quick recovery. I hope you're recovering well. Again, yeah, again, sorry to hear that. So prayers for you. Get well soon. Sorry, again, not sure what to say because I understand what you mean. Little ones. And it doesn't end there. Probably we'll, after that one, we'll still come home with someone else. But hopefully, we hope always hope it doesn't. But the good thing is that they are. I don't know how they're built. They deal with it like this, and they are adults. It takes time. The class is there's no issue of us trying to go for these big targets in January. Play out the season, and we walk out from there. That's how I see it again. But I don't want us to be in a rush in getting in players and then end up finding out we got the wrong players. But the good thing is that I think we have the structure in place. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think we'll be going for players that will fit into the manager's project or the club's current project. I hope that happens. But I get your argument there. Good morning again, the Breach CFC Chama. Good morning to you too. You okay? Responding to somebody that say hello. I heard we're going to sign Andrey Santos in January. I'm not sure. Again, I've been away for a while and not well acquainted with whatever that's going on, but I'll do my research and find out. And Andrey Santos is not a player that I know that much in terms of what he can bring to the team and whether he fits into our current project. We also need, again, an upgrade to our training facilities. I had, again, a coach talk about it some time ago. Me? Did I really? Or the manager? But here's the sorry, something I want to say quickly. You were timed out because you used all caps. And remember, Nightbot is a machine. It's not a human being. So don't feel like anybody timed you out. The Prince. Potter has completed a short course in emotional intelligence. What would he need to... Oh, my gosh. And I have to say something quickly. Potter's... degree in emotional intelligence will probably be the reason why he would not tell players as it is. Probably will always try to find to make it work. Like he's more like a therapist to the players than a coach, really. But I hope it works out for him. I still believe he can turn things around. But I have to be honest on what my observations so far are. I think the only thing we can get out of Potter is be able to build a unit for us. He will build a unit for us and start playing and start performing as a well-oiled machine. But in terms of trophies, and again, we're going to...
It's going to take time, Coach.
Okay, I agree. It will take time, I know. But I'm not sure of that. I hope he proves me wrong. We should
Smoke
get...
him if you got him.
we should get Cabra from Napoli. And Chama says that Chelsea again, players are playing well in the World Cup, surprisingly so. Even Raheem Sterling, the day he played, he did well, but still, again, it didn't complete a lot of attempted dribbles. Come on, coach, when it came to chances, he missed so many chances. That's the truth, I agree. But I'm saying him missing those chances were down to him being out of form. Again, like lacking confidence at that point. That's just the truth. Our issue wasn't speed. If it was speed, we could have gone to maybe hire Usain Bolt. We don't need road runners. We want, again, footballers. We.
It's a good one, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a delicious one indeed. We have heaps of runners.
Love it.
But Werner helped us to create space. Again, his decoy runs, I loved it then. I think, look, I endured his bad misses with his decoy runs. At least, plus his commitment on the pitch.
I agree.
Yeah, his commitment on the pitch. Plus, he had the highest assist then, didn't he?
Something like that. Also,
yeah, he had the best goal contribution. Was it even under Thomas Tuchel? Not really under Frank Lampard. So,
also, Coach, you know what else you haven't really discussed? It was his attitude. He had a great attitude, even when he was playing poorly. He wasn't whining. He wasn't
sulking.
He kept his head high, and he applied himself non-stop. You couldn't tell whether he was in form or out of form if you take away his finished product. With looking at his application, it was excellent. He was, in other words, he exemplifies a true professional.
He is. He is, seriously.
And he's a very personable individual. He is very much liked in the locker room. I really wanted him to succeed, Coach. I really did.
Yeah, I do. Let me catch up on the chat quickly. We'll talk about Leao and we'll call it a day. Again, the player that can replace. that's a shot at you. Thinking the Werner was coming. You would think, thank you, Kimso, for shooting at me with that.
You're dead to me, Kimso. Dead to me.
Quick recovery, Chama. Quick recovery to you. And again, the truth is, even Messi will not replace Eden Hazard at Chelsea. Messi is not physical as Hazard. Let's be honest here. And Roger said Leao passed the eye test. Well, that's another player that's going to flop. Again, we have to be cautious how we just play as by one. But I'm not saying you did that.
Hold on 1 second. You're off my Christmas card list.
we all have been hyping Rafael Leao, saying how good of a player he will be.
But isn't he though? Come on.
No, I think, again, from what we've seen, he's a good player, but that's not guaranteed that would translate in the Premier League until he comes and we see it happen. Even with signed players from another club who's played in the Premier League and they join us, again, the rest is down south. Chama not missing meat and shy habits. Okay, again, get a midfielder in general, at least, and qualify for UEFA Champions League by winning the thing. Again, we need to at least qualify for the UEFA Champions League. If not, it's concerning, really. Werner starting on others were very Starling and others were very good players before joining Celsius. So where is the problem from? It's difficult to say, but Werner's problem is he operates with space. And again, he did well as he did against the last two. Again, his last two good performances were against what's this club where Livramento plays, and one was against Real Madrid. Those are the two teams where there were lots of spaces for him to exploit. That's the thing again. But in Werner's case, Starling, I don't know yet. I don't have an answer as to why he's attempted 100 dribbles and failed 99.9% of the dribbles and only got 0.1%. We need to upgrade the physios. Maybe there may well be the issue. Potter's course in emotional intelligence means nada. It doesn't mean anything in terms when it comes to coaching. But he can help a player regain confidence. But but it doesn't mean anything in terms of tactical acumen and all that. And I don't want to trigger his lawyer because I don't want us to go into that conversation, really. We're Chelsea Football Club. We should win trophies. It's as simple as that. Even if we're going through, again, a transition period. Chelsea versus Man City in the FA Cup, it looks like we will be... It looks like we will be knocked out again. You can say that and say it even louder. But you never know. The truth remains, the last cup game we played against them, we were the better side. We had a better XG. We created more chances than them. We just didn't put our chances away. Even if you argue that Pep knew exactly what he was doing by starting a B team against us, Had we scored our chances, we had the chance to score like 3 clear-cut chances in the first half. Had we scored those, there's a chance we, again, as they come out to score, we score more. So, yeah, you never know. Anything can happen usually. Again, as usual, let's see. No, again, not the Xmas list. My timing is
Good one.
yeah, it's a good one, really. My timing is bad. He says yes. Let's say again. Manchester City coming. Yeah, it's coming. Again, you will be. You will be trying again because of negligence. Possibly, you could argue that, but that's by the way. Tebago. Let's talk about the final again. Topic we have lined up here. We could call it a day. Let's talk about this man here, Rafael Leao. His statement is again another one that's concerning to me, really. Saying that he will sit down and talk with AC Milan after the World Cup. Is it after the World Cup? Or was it after the World Cup? After at the end of the season, I'm not sure. But your
After
thoughts?
the
Do
World
you
Cup.
think after the World Cup was that what he said?
Yes.
Yeah. That's to me doesn't look like he's looking to leave. He's looking to see if they will sort out his contract situation and he stays there. What do you think?
To be honest, I was just checking Serie A teams in terms of paying players money, and then also checking Premier League. AC Milan are offering players peanuts to what players are earning at Chelsea, Man City, Manchester United. So, and then also remember Rafael Leao owes his former club money that AC Milan that are not willing to pay. If Chelsea can make him a good offer and willing to pay that money that he owes to his former club, I think we stand a chance to win him. But it's up to us now because at the moment he's talking about contract extensions. Clearly, he's not happy to what he was offered before the World Cup, and we can just sneak in. So it's up to us that what are we going to offer this kid. But again, he's happy in AC Milan, is a key player, is playing most of the games. And then if he wants to stay, I'll respect him. But again, this is our chance. As I said, like, it's any peanuts in AC Milan, and then they offer him peanuts also. And then at Chelsea, you're getting real money. So it's up to him.
It's up to him, really, but there's no, I'm not sure, there's no clarity. There's no way to tell whether he wants to leave or not. But to me, talking to the club or with the club after the World Cup simply means telling them he wants to leave, or it could simply mean telling them okay, if you can sort out that payment you talked about. I think the court of arbitration for sports fine for him leaving the way he left his club, Portuguese club. I'm not going to get into it, but he's a player I really want. But let's see. Let me catch up with the channel. I want to get Roger's opinion, and then we can call it a day. Again, we got more chance of Anthony Taylor growing dreadlocks than getting past City. Ouch! Oh my goodness! I guess you don't want to go to heaven. That's a beautiful game. That's harsh, really.
Very.
Oh my goodness, that's not. But I think we'll get through. Really, I know. Let me just say, I don't. I'm not gonna. No, I think we have a chance. It's as simple as that. Given how well we played against them, we played against them in the other cup game. But we'll see what happens, really. But it doesn't look good for Potter, given how difficult of a game it would be. And I think Pep wouldn't want to see us outplay them again. That's what makes it even more difficult. Because if Pep usually studies games, he usually studies game. If he goes back and studied that game and see who outplayed them, even created more chances than they did, had more XG than they did, he wouldn't want to risk it. As England fan as well, it's amazing Manchester City again play against Chelsea. I'm not sure why that is, but we'll see. Roger and Coach are playing as a unit. Do you remember the Greece team that won the Euro 2004? There were no superstars. Again, they played as a unit. in that team, but won because they played as a unit. Yep, they played as a unit, they defended as a unit. It was about, again, it was not about a single individual. It was about the team overall, and that's one heck of a team. I must say. So that's a good point there, Brian Mawoko, for bringing that up. Why are people so upset about getting knocked out of the FA Cup? I'm actually happy about it with the amount of games that need to be played in a short period. Again, it's a blessing to focus on certain goals. It's a blessing, really. I think this makes sense. This is, if you ask me, this is again a delicious comment, really. My priority would be, let us not win any cups, really. Let's win the Champions League, or maybe at least get into the top 4 to ensure that we have Champions League football next season. I'd rather we do that. So this is a delicious comment from the Clyde. Roger, what do you think, really?
I don't want us to be knocked out of anything, you know?
Yeah, but we're not well equipped to do well in everything.
I think it allows players rotation. I think you could play into form. You know, I'm playing devil's advocate here. I would like us to go to Wembley this year. You know, obviously we've been knocked out of one domestic cup. And I thought, you're right, we did play very well. We exceeded our expectations, my expectations anyway, when we played against City. So, no, I want us to win. You know, I understand you want us to concentrate on the domestic league.
Yeah, because look at this. And he adds, the client adds also less injuries, because we're fragile right now. Yeah, we're fragile. We don't have a balanced squad. One person out will start suffering. One person from the middle. Think about Kovacic if he's injured. Think about if who else plays that position again? Jorginho, if he's injured. We have a lot of issues there. So to me, I think this makes sense. Honestly, I'd rather us get knocked out, concentrate in the league, make it to top 4, have Champions League next season. So to me, it's a blessing in disguise. But go ahead with what you're saying, and I want to get Tebago's thoughts too.
I see the logic. I understand it. But you can't take that attitude / approach into every game. Otherwise, you know, it's like...
No, this is just all seeing things from the outside. You can't go into it and want it to lose. Sure.
No, I get it. I do. I understand your point of view. And I subscribe to that theory to a certain extent. But I think also you can, as that cup progresses, in the initial stages, you can showcase your younger players more. Do you understand? Yes, it's Man City, so you can't do as much. But I still believe that especially, don't forget, Potter is new. It's not like we have an established coach for 3 or 4 years. He needs games to shall we say, experiment or work on his theory or his assessment of certain players. So these games are actually very important that you don't do that same in a Premier League game, if that makes sense. You know, if you want to try different formations or players in certain positions, you know. So I'm looking at it in that regard. But I understand your point of view. It does make sense. But I also see an alternative logic, if that makes sense.
Yeah, again, it makes sense, but again, but this logic here to me makes more sense.
Yeah, I mean, let's put it this way.
We could also use that competition to nurture the younger players, like you said. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, coach. If you ask me, would you rather go to Wembley, win or lose, or be top 4? I'd choose top 4. Yes, I agree with you. If you put that question in that perspective, in that context, I agree with you. I would rather be top 4. So I see your logic.
Yeah, anytime, any day, really. Before I get to Tebago starts, he says again, City's B team. Let's be honest. Yeah, I've said that too. It was practically City's B team. Pep had to bring in the big guns, as he was saying. Again, the game was gonna end. They may end up losing it, or it ends in going to penalties and all that. Again, all best to Chelsea football team. Yeah, like you're saying, yeah, all the best at Chelsea. City's B team. Yeah, I agree with you there. Again, Roger, calm down. We are rebuilding. Top 4 will only come via the. Here he goes with the backdoor statements again. I remember how hard I laughed at it, but I get his
out of
argument.
context.
Yeah, love Manchester City's
I forgot about that
football.
one, Coach.
Yeah, I will never forget that. They can proper football team. If you showcasing that measure, if you're showcasing that means you're not taking it seriously, you will get knocked out. So that comes back to the class argument too. If we go for the cup, we will play our full team for most of it. This season is unique with the World Cup creating chaos. Yeah, again, it wasn't the situation really of games. Let's see, with class on top and bottom. So your thoughts on the Leao again? I don't know if you've spoken about Leao, Tebago. What do you think? Have you really?
Yes, I've talked about Leao.
Okay. Do you know again? Are you well acquainted with the situation regarding Edson Alvarez?
No, at the moment, I'm not sure. But last sheet from Fabrizio Romano, he said Edson Alvarez is still a Chelsea lead. So we'll wait and see in January what will happen.
The player himself, from what I read, is interested. He didn't specifically say anything about the Premier League, but is interested in joining the Premier League.
Yes, correct. Because I remember the time we've been linked with him, even though it was last minute things, and then Ajax didn't want to let him go. He didn't train that time. The last day of the transfer window, they didn't train because he wanted to push a move to Chelsea. Unfortunately, it didn't happen. So if Chelsea are going out for him in January, I feel like it can happen. But anyway, Chelsea fans have different opinion about him. That's how our fans are. Some can say it's good, some can say it's bad. We'll never know.
Let's see what we have here. Again, Pulisic is Pulisic's year greater than Havertz, and Mount says it can shown. Again, that's your argument. Some people flip it the other way around and say the other two are greater than the other two. But again, you're entitled to argument, and I understand. So again, but thank you. Welcome again. If you haven't, take a second to drop a like on the video and subscribe to the channel. If you haven't, Russia, I don't know if you've spoken about the club's pursuit of Leao, whether you what you think about again his comment that he will talk with his club after the World Cup. What do you think, really?
It sounds like Leao is using us, as a bargaining tool if he wants to speak to his club. I respect that he's playing there and maybe he loves playing there. And then if that's the case, then I wish him well. And you can't be selfish, but I would love if he does want to leave and there are other clubs courting him, if we can get him, we should splash the cash. Because I think, how old is he again? I forget. I apologize. Early 20s?
Early 20s, yeah, I guess.
Yeah. He hasn't even reached his potential, his maximum potential. I think he's going to be a superstar. Listen, I've only seen him 4 or 5 times, and every time I've watched him, he's been very impressive. Very. And look, he's hardly played in this World Cup. Each time he's come on, he's been a positive attribute. I think he will be a huge hit. Well, look at when he played against Chelsea. It was like, wow, his acceleration, burst of speed, prolific. He went by Reece James several times. Do you recall? Reece James, I mean, we're not talking about a 38-year-old. We're talking about a player not even in his prime, basically, right now, Reece James. And no, I think if we can get him, this would bode very well for us going forward. I hope so, and hopefully I would much prefer him over Sterling, wouldn't you?
Yeah, that's the truth. But again, I have to say this: your eye test isn't a guarantee that he comes here and he
no,
well.
Of course not. I need new glasses. I get it. But
yeah,
but seriously, I think he's a huge upgrade from everything we have right now over Sterling, over Pulisic. his physical attributes, his technical ability, his first touch. You know, he's clinical. He's tall, powerful. I think he would suit this league and Chelsea very well.
Yeah, again, just quickly again before we continue, if you haven't, take a second to drop a like on this on the stream and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. This is our first stream in a while, and we already have 49 likes. That's not easy. Help us get it to 50. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, we'll be rounding up in a minute or two. And again, yeah, the beautiful game at it again, Roger. He's talking to you. I really think we should go in for Michael Oliver in January. It will be the signing of the season. Yeah.
Yeah, the referee.
Yeah, I hope we do that. Really, again, I can't laugh that hard. Now, please, I'm losing my voice. We have to clean house. Cannot be using the same players from 3 managers ago and expect to have a team in Porter's style.
Yeah,
you must be again. You must be another Porter advocate. I get the argument, but you don't change team like that. Even if you want to change the team, it has to be a gradual process. Otherwise, you're creating more problem than you're solving. Keep Reece James. Yeah, definitely. Not just him. But then again, everybody, even anybody that hates every other Chelsea player, will still say keep Reece James. But I get it. Let's see. Lucky Scenes again. As England fan, it's great to see big FA Cup tie. A lot of people want to see that, but this time it's yeah.
Coach, I need to say something. Listen, I'm in my mid-50s, and when I was young, you know, like several centuries ago, the FA Cup was so. It was really valued. It was a very how shall I term this? It was something that, like now, it's like any domestic cup in England is an afterthought. It's not prestigious. Back in my day, the FA Cup was very prestigious. Really, it was like the big thing. You know, we didn't have that much TV access in the 70s and 80s. And so, but they would show the FA Cup final. It's like the World Cup final. It was massive for us. The FA Cup.
Yeah, I understand. But again,
English people.
It's still a respected competition. But the truth remains, given how lucrative the Champions League is.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, no, of course. I mean, listen, the Champions League has evolved. It's always been big, you know. Back in the 60s and 70s, or you know, it's always been a huge tournament, no doubt about it. You know, it's so prestigious in so many ways. It holds. I think every country. I mean, I think it's the most sought after club competition in the world. I really do. It's the pinnacle.
Just quickly, I'll catch up with the chat, and I'll have Tebago talk about Chelsea's interest in Ismail Benessa. He sent me something. My screen is freezing. I couldn't share it. Next season, Roger will be calling Leao the Portuguese Zaha. I have been that impressed for someone put it over. I haven't been that impressed. Someone put it over 100 million. Yeah. I'm not a Potter advocate. I get it. It takes time. But what I don't want is for us to die because it takes time. We'll die in the process. The process can be taken gradually, and the process can be systematic, and not again have us all die of heart attack in the process. But I get your argument, Kishon. Thank you very much for that. My jury is still out on Potter. I'm still out. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
I think I'm crossing the fence gradually. I hope I haven't jumped it without knowing. Coach Pep, let's go over 7 players in one season in 2017 and got new ones in. But even after that, he still had a few left. Again, I'm not sure. Okay, you win anyway.
I want to see those players. What are the players' names?
No, I think I remember what he's talking. There was a time Pep had to be drastic about making that change, and he did. Again, I don't remember how it happened exactly, but there was a time they changed quite a lot of players. Really, I have to be honest. So Roger, again, you were around when Liverpool wore those white suits.
Yes, I was, mate. You're shaming me, mate.
I don't know about that.
It's true. It was a huge
Oh
thing.
my goodness. Okay,
you
just a
should-
few
you should
again, about
Google
5 minutes to
Coach.
round off. Yeah. Quickly, again, here says we've read that. Roger, again, you responded again. Bali is going to make a big change. No, we're seeing that we've made quite a lot of big changes already, and more changes coming. So, Tebago, can you tell us about Ismail Benesia? Is he a player you want at Chelsea, and why? Let's round off with that one, really, because I'm running out of time myself.
Yeah, I've seen him playing against us. Those 2 games he plays against AC Milan, he was doing a lot of things. He was controlling the game. It's like another Kovacic. He can link and play. He can progress with the ball. But I haven't seen him scoring goals. But at the moment, we lack energy in the midfield. So every time I say, like, Kovacic, if Kovacic is injured, who can replace him? Who can give us that energy? Give us no one does. So we need another type of Kovacic player who can do that the work that is doing at the moment at Chelsea. So, and then we should take advantage of the contract situation at AC Milan, because it's not looking good. If not, we need to take advantage of that, because we've been linked with so many midfielders, and I don't feel like in January window we can get top midfielders unless we're going to pay over a lot of money, overpricing them. So at the moment, this guy can be cheap in January for us
How
to
much?
get him, and then inside. I'm not sure at the moment. I'll take 2 years soon. I've got the fee, because his contract is ending at 2024, and he's just changed his agent at the moment. So clearly we can sneak it there.
Yeah. Oh, Ty, quickly, you took a second to let us know again. Let us know, is he a player you want at Chelsea, and why, Ty? Again, so we can round up with that one. I want to know again. I'll try to see if Roger has anything to say about that. But Ty, how about you? Is he a player you want at Chelsea, and why do you want him at Chelsea?
Is it sorry,
Benesia, Ismail
I jumped
Benesia.
in mid sentence.
We're talking about Benesia or Benessa. How do you pronounce his name?
Benesia, yeah.
Yeah, Benessa. Yeah.
Menessa?
No, Benessa. Ismail Benessa.
Bentancur.
Hello?
Is it Bentancur
Sorry?
or Benessa? Are we
Who are you
mixing
talking
we're
about?
mixing things up here?
Messi?
No, I'm talking about he shared a tweet with me
Is
on
it
Chelsea stepping up his.
what country does he
I'm
is it
messing
is
with
it
you guys.
Okay, you go ahead and explain, Tebago. You sent the tweet about Chelsea stepping up Ismail Benessa's interest with meetings scheduled. This is not Bentancur, really.
No.
I'm not
No,
missing. We're not
it's,
talking about Bentancur here. It's Benessa or Benesia. I don't
yeah,
know how you
Benesia.
pronounce it.
Let me just check his name. It's
Ismail-
Benessa. AC Milan midfielder.
Yeah, AC Milan, I know, but Ty, Ty is saying Bentancur.
I'm sorry.
You say
I never heard that before.
sorry. Yeah, it looks
you
like
repeat that?
Ty again has
I've
a
never
very
that
poor
name
connection.
before. Probably I don't play, but I don't.
Yeah, Ty has a very, very poor connection. Roger, is he a player you know too? You want to talk about him, or do you think we should call it a day?
I'll be honest with you. I don't know him enough to comment on him. I apologize. But, you know, for one player that I do want in our midfield that has apparently dropped in value is, I know you don't value him, is Rice. If we can get him for 70 million in the summertime, I'd rather go for him.
70 million. It's
7-0.
even
That's
worse. It's even worse if Adams outplayed him. If Rice wasn't paired again
okay.
with Jude Bellingham, like I thought, you said like it was
we're
more
still
like
on
a
this. We're still on this one game. Okay.
yeah.
So,
it means a lot. He was
no,
outplayed.
it doesn't. Okay. Let me just say this one thing. I get it. This one sampling rate, one game, but you look at the two other games. You guys didn't perform well against Wales? We did. You guys didn't perform that great against Iran? We did.
But in those games, Adams still did well in all of those games you're mentioning.
Yeah, and what did it lead to? What did it lead to? You scored what? You scored how many goals? 2. We've scored 9, and you dropped points against Wales. Wales, a population of 3.1 million. America has a population of over 340. Ergo, over 100 times greater.
Okay, you win. Chelsea paid 200 million for Rice. Listen.
No, come on, not 200.
Listen, here's what my point is. If the manager wants him, fine. Really, he's not a player I value that much in terms of how much the price being quoted. And even from the time of Thomas Tuchel, I've argued I don't think he suits the way Thomas Tuchel plays the game, especially even though there were some nonsense rumors that Thomas Tuchel says he likes Rice and all that. But we'll see what happens. If the club signs him, fine.
Don't go with.
I'm not going to argue. I will support him.
Yeah, you know what? And to be honest with you, I have no clue what Potter wants. You're talking about the jury's out. I'm perplexed. I'm confused with Potter. You know, I like him cerebrally. I like his attitude. He seems very articulate, but I don't know. I mean, your input on him is very valid, you know, about changing formations too often, etc., etc. But listen, it's going to be a bumpy season. But I hope he makes it to the end of the season if we don't make top 4. But you know, I was hoping for better results. I don't think we've improved, if anything, with Potter so far. But that could be because of the locker room, because of the players.
Nope, I don't think so. But that's another discussion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, you're right though. But I'm agreeing. I'm becoming more skeptical with him. I admit it.
No. Don't lose your job. Keep working for him. Yeah. Keep fighting for him, really. Yeah.
He's got me on retainer, huh?
Yeah, again, I have just a few minutes before I go wake up my boy and help him get ready for school.
Sure.
I hope again we'll have another Blue Morning show today. I'm not sure about. Sorry.
Hello.
Sorry, you said something, Ty. Didn't he say something?
Yes.
No, I thought Ty said something, but that's by the way. Again, Ty has shared the link to his channel again. This is the second time we're talking about his channel here. Please go check it out and make sure to subscribe. Also,
it's a really good channel. It's a
really good channel. As you're hearing from Roger. Also, go check out the Coolest Chels. That's Tebago's YouTube channel. You will see the link in the description section. I already added it. Please go check out the channels again. It says Tuchel was Steve to like everyone. He also liked. You also like to Roger. Brian Mawoko, I love you, brother. Thank you so much for that contribution there. Again, we have to call it a day because I really have some. Again, I have to go help my son prepare for school. I'm gonna see one last comment there from again Roger. You're in trouble today, Roger. I don't remember you purchasing a bus ticket, bro. I am going to have refer you to transfer security. So Roger, you know why he's saying that? Because I am surprised to hear you say you're beginning to look at Potter somehow.
Well, no, I'm a bit despondent. You know, I want us to do well when you look at the roster, but no, transport security. That's bloody funny.
Big up everyone. Big up. Is that how you pronounce that? That's the Australian national team. Is it Sorcerers? I hope they win today.
Socceroos they're called.
Okay, Socceroos. I hope they win today. Again, good luck again. But don't tweet too early. If you score first, don't tweet early. The class, just wait a bit, okay? But that's, by the way, again, okay, soccer rules. He corrects me. Thank you for so much, Declan. I know how busy you are. I appreciate you finding time to participate in the chat. I cannot thank you enough. I will try to reach everyone that I haven't spoken with, again, in a bit privately. I have a lot of friends that I need to talk with. I need to talk with Tebago. I need to talk with Ty, even Roger, even you, Declan, even on the Bluetooth again. But thank you so much to Declan. Thank you to the Bluetooth again. Thank you to the captain of the house who isn't here right now, Liam Lane. And thank you to Brian Mawoko. Thank you for those delicious comments. Thank you to Kishan. Thank you to Lee, who was here also, Lucky Scene. Everyone else, if I became so also, again, if I miss your name, apologies, I'm only a human being, and I hope to see you guys soon. Why is it that every time I'm saying goodbyes, the screen freezes? Now I can't end the show until it unfreezes, but again, oh my gosh, this is hilarious, really. Okay, there you go. Now it unfreezes again. I hope to see everyone soon.
Take care, Coach.
Let me see.
Take care, everybody.
And you too. Thank you so much. God bless us all. See you guys next time. And bye.